Pick out a pair of comfortable, rugged, and waterproof boots. The Hub offers a complete selection of boots from Wolverine, Carolina, Georgia Boot, Rocky, Carhartt, and Timberland Pro. Be sure to check out their line of clothing from Dickies, Carhartt, Camber, and Wigwam. Get to the Hub, specializing in outdoor gear from brands you know and trust. Visit the Hub inside the Summers Point Shopping Center or on Route 40 inside the Mays Landing Diner Shopping Center. Whether you're regular, big, or tall, the Hub fits them all. Here today, here to stay. Also visit online at summerspointhub.com. No matter what the season, the Hub's got you covered. They have a full line of apparel and boots for men, with a limited selection for ladies as well. Come and check out the Hub in Summers Point or Mays Landing.
Are you ready to sell your home? Call Dave Beach. He makes sure his clients receive the very best in service. Dave Beach at RE/MAX Community is your trusted local expert. Fast closings, top offers, and service just like your family. 609-685-4942. Online at soldbydavebeach.com.
Home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
They got him again!
Sixers.
Bang! It's good! Ball game!
And Flyers.
Tipped in front of the net!
97.3 ESPN. WENJ. WENJ HD. Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
Finally!
This is Hanging with Hennig.
I have friends everywhere.
On 97.3 ESPN Radio, South Jersey.
In New Jersey. Am I right? Yeah.
Live feed on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
It seems to run on some form of electricity. Well, you're not wrong.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together.
Now, here's your host.
He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Josh Hennig.
It's only appropriate that it is a rainy, dreary, ugly day outside, because Thursday was such a depressing day. And listen, I'm not going to sit here and act like I thought they were going to win every game this year. I'm not like Nick Earnshaw, the eternal optimist, okay? We're realists here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Streaming live on YouTube and X in the Dr. Squatch virtual studios. And joining me, he's going to be joining me throughout the fall and the winter, Alex Burrars. Of course, you hear him as a producer on The Locker Room with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN. Alex, are you ready for 3 hours of me?
Of course I am, Josh. I've spent, 2 summers with you?
Well, you haven't spent them. You've kind of like intermingled.
Yeah, well, you kind of gave me the start here. You were the one pushing for me, I feel like, for a lot of this stuff, right?
I wasn't expecting you to divulge that information, but I appreciate the gratitude from you. But we do have a lot to get to here on the show because, and we'll get to the Eagles. And I gotta be frank, I'm actually probably more balanced when it comes to the Eagles, and I'm more peeved about the Phillies.
No, I get that.
Because for me, people can text it throughout the show, 609-403-0973. Because I always felt the Phillies were going to lose. I kind of had this part of me where I was like, you know what, they're going to lose. They're not going to win the World Series. It is what it is. This team's not good enough. I had that vibe all along. So for me, the fact that the Phillies lost the way they did, it angered me more because it was like they were actually worse than I thought. It was like, it's like how if you ever go to a movie, right? I can never have this conversation with Mike Gill because he doesn't ever watch movies. But Mike Gill in the sports bench, everybody knows he hasn't been to a movie since 1998. I'm a big movie guy. There's nothing worse than watching a movie trailer and then going to the movie and then it just being utterly disappointing. And I've learned the hard way over the years, you just can't have expectations. You can't get your hopes up, right? You can't be like Billy Schweim and riding the emotional roller coaster. But I get it. A lot of people do. So we're going to try to encompass all of the elements of the Phillies and the Eagles as we head into this weekend here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Coming up on today's show, Frank Klose, Phillies insider from 97.3 ESPN.com. He'll join us coming up in about 20 minutes from now. Listen, I think Frank is going to have to answer a lot of interesting questions today because today is one of those days and this offseason, one of those off seasons where there's no clear, concise answers, right? Then we got our fantasy football segment every week with Andy McNamara, of course, presented by Tropicana Atlantic City and the Gridiron Pit inside Tropicana Atlantic City. We'll be back there on October 25th, by the way, at the Trop in AC. We'll get Andy McNamara's perspective because here's the thing for those who don't know. There's even more injuries potentially this weekend than last weekend. And I think a lot of people out there, they're struggling. They're struggling to figure out how they're going to play their teams this week. And then I'm really looking forward to a 225. We're going to have Super Bowl champion quarterback Tony Banks coming on the show. And I reached out to Tony yesterday, and I said, hey, do you mind coming on to talk about the Eagles offense? And he said, absolutely, let's do it. Because Tony has been a very strong advocate for Jalen Hurts over the years. But he's also been a very strong, very vocal about the fact that Hurts has had 6 different coordinators during his Eagles tenure. So we're going to get a former NFL quarterback's perspective on Hurts and the Eagles offense coming up at 2:25 p.m. But Alex, I want to ask you this before I get into my main discourse of the Phillies. Okay. And by the way, I'm not going to ignore that the Flyers played on Thursday night.
They were like the ugly child of that night.
And I got to admit, Vladar played better than I expected. So I got to give them credit for that. And I'm not going to ignore that crown jewel happened this morning, even though I wasn't watching. I only got the highlights
I watched a bit of
on
it.
stream, on Instagram and Twitter and everything. But the big deal right now is we are in the Phillies offseason, Alex. And if I had to ask you one word or one sentence to describe the Phillies as of October 11th, what would it be?
Go towards cleaning house. I actually think your movie reference was a bit off, because I think it was one of those where you watch the trailer and that trailer reveals too much of the movie.
Okay.
We've seen this before. We've seen these bats go cold. We've seen this movie play out before. And then it happened again. And Dombrowski didn't do enough. All right, Harrison Bader, yeah, cool, great signing. I would re-sign him, or good trade at the deadline. I would bring him in, going on to next season. But I think there's got to be more moves that needed to be made, especially last season. Last season, I think, was the big one where he really missed out on. And now I think we're too deep into where there's got to be major changes top to bottom.
Well, that's kind of where I was going with it, because I agree with the second part that there is some major changes that need to be had. But the problem is that you're restricted. You're confined with some of those changes. Because let's draw the picture for everybody. How did we get here? This goes back to when Matt Klentak was fired and Andy McPhail was let go, quote unquote. They had a regime change in Philadelphia. It's about 5 years ago now. And Dave Dombrowski, a future baseball Hall of Famer, okay, he's done amazing work. Started with the Marlins, won a World Series, got the Tigers to 2 World Series, won a World Series with the Red Sox. And they brought him in to change the culture and the environment. And as a general principle, Dombrowski has done that job. As a general principle, he brought in better players. He overhauled the roster. He fine-tuned some elements, right? And they got to the World Series in 2022. A World Series appearance that nobody expected. Then that's when things went sideways. Because what is Dave Dombrowski good at? He's good at identifying a need and going and getting an asset. The problem is now we are locked in to too many assets. You are stuck with Trey Turner until 2033. Bryce Harper is signed through 2031. You have another year under contract with the abomination known as Nick Castellanos. You have Aaron Nola. He is signed for another several years. You have an absolute roster of guys. None of them are free agents. So now, when you have to sign free agents, think about who's the free agents offseason. JT Realmuto, Kyle Schwarber, Ranger Suarez. And for as much as I've criticized Max Kepler, he came around, right? There is a bunch of guys you got to make some legitimate decisions about. But your hands are tied because nobody is trading for Trey Turner's contract. You have to basically pay somebody to take on Nick Castellanos' contract. Dave Dombrowski has been given way too much praise by people in certain corners. And I've been criticizing him for 2 years now. They built a team that was a high-risk, high-reward roster. What did this team do last year? and the year before, and the year before that. They strike out, Alex, again and again and again. And there's never been a point in time where this team, this organization, I should say, not the team, the organization, has properly addressed that. And Rob Thompson, I think he's going to get fired, not because he deserves it, but because you have to do something. You have to make a change. And I thought there was a great point made by Hembo when he was on with Mike Gill earlier this week on 97.3 ESPN on the Sports Bash. Josh Hennig, Alex Berardis hanging with you on 97.3 ESPN. We'll get to your text in just a bit at 609-403-0973. Hembo told a story, and it's a little too long for us to play the audio right now, but Hembo told a story where he explained about what happened with the Red Sox in the early 2000s, how Grady Little was beloved. The players loved that guy. They admired the guy. They appreciated him. But when they lost again and again and again in the postseason, Red Sox management realized we got to make a change. We believe in the roster, but maybe we got to change the manager. And so what happened is that you got Terry Francona in there. And by the way, Francona at that time, just to remind people, had never won anything. He was a career loser as a manager. And I mean loser. But what did Francona do? He came to the Red Sox organization, changed the mentality, changed the culture, and they won multiple World Series under Terry Francona. I think it was, I believe, 3 from 2004 to 2012. But the larger point is, Rob Thompson, as Hemba pointed out, might end up being the Grady Little of this team. Because, Alex, right now, you're stuck with Nola. You're stuck with Harper. You're stuck with Turner. And guess what? JT Realmuto, he ain't getting any younger. You got to overhaul this bullpen. You got a lot of decisions to be made, but you can't run it back with the same team.
I do think there was an opportunity for Thompson to keep his job and still lose this series. I don't think he did that, though. I think he made enough blunders, enough errors, just bad, poor decision-making to where he might have costed himself a job. Because if this went 5 and we still lost, and it was a great back-and-forth series, he made, the right bullpen moves, and we just ended up, they were the better team than us. Then, you know what, Topper, I can see you coming back next year. Let's run, not at back, but you in this organization.
Now, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I'm not saying that you're wrong. But can you give me some examples of decisions that Rob Thompson has made that is wrong? Because I have a very specific response to some of them.
Me personally, I would have went down with Luzardo in that 11th inning, or he would have gotten us out with it. I would have preferred to keep Luzardo in. Maybe he was dealing up until that point.
Okay, so my answer to that is, but if your offense would have done their job in the first 9 innings,
100%,
you wouldn't be in the position of Luzardo to Kerkering anyway, right?
Yeah, no, I'm not saying this is Orion Kerkering's fault. I'm not one of those people. You got to put up. I said to my dad before the series started, to beat the Dodgers, you probably have to score at least 4 to 5 runs a game if you want to win this series. And the Phillies just did not do that. Didn't even come close except for game 3.
All right, give me another example of something that you looked at Rob Thompson doing and you were like, that was a problem.
I do think now it did end up working, but I would have left Nola out there as long as I could have. But, that did obviously just end up working.
Well, here's the problem with that point. We know that the organization planned for Nola to only go 2 innings.
Which I don't like this whole plan stuff. If Nola was dealing what she was, ride that until you can't, I feel like, in my opinion. But I also don't like when they putting Strom in that situation. What was it, game 1?
Game 1, yeah.
Yeah.
When he gave up the home run to Teoscar Hernandez.
Yeah.
See, and here's the thing with the Strom thing. I also think that was delineated before the game because we know that a lot of teams now, they don't let their managers make decisions.
Yeah, so then what's Thompson doing then?
He's managing the personalities and the people in the locker room.
He hasn't done a great job of that.
Well, that's where I ask you, is that Rob Thompson's job to manage it, or is it the players to stop being depending on the manager to manage it? Like, for example, I felt the entire year that one of the things the Phillies lacked was a dude in the locker room like, and not to sound like Billy Schwein here, an Aggie with Hennig on
I know where you're
973.
going with
But
this.
back in the day, there was Macho Row for the 93 Phillies. Jimmy Rollins patrolled the 2008 and 2009 locker rooms, right? Baseball has a long history of David Ortiz was famous and infamous for being the king of the Red Sox locker room. Like, there's all kinds of examples of players, Buster Posey with the Giants when they won their 3 World Series. There's nobody in this locker room that when the media wasn't around, whoever took Nick Castellanos aside and said, listen, you bleepity blank, you better get in line with the rest of us or we're going to throw down. Because Castellanos, I think, has been allowed to devolve into a petulant child. And at some point, the moment that he said, oh, me and Thompson don't really talk, that's the moment where if I'm a teammate in that locker room, I'm going to him when the media's not around. I don't want to make a scene, right? I don't want to. But you say, yo, don't air out dirty laundry outside the locker room. Don't go outside this building and tell people our business. If you got a problem with Thompson, talk to Thompson, talk to me, talk to somebody else. We'll handle it. Castellanos let way too much garbage leak out. And that's why, to me, he has to be gone. I don't care if you got to pay somebody to take him or not. You got to get rid of him. And to me, there was nobody in that Phillies locker room who would have gone up to Castellanos and put him in line. Because the problem is Harper, Schwarber, all these guys who are quote-unquote leaders on that team, they're all nice guys, Alex. They're all likable dudes. I was just talking about Billy Schwein. He walks back in the room. It's like Joe Henry over here. I say his name. He walks back in. Billy, I was just saying before you walked in, I mentioned you because I was saying that there's nobody in the Phillies locker room that grab Nick Castellanos by the shirt and say, hey, dude, don't put the dirty laundry out in the public. Don't talk about stuff. To me, I mentioned the 93 Phillies, the 2008 Phillies, or even Buster Posey with the Giants in the mid-2000s. Great teams have a dude in that locker room. Might even be the best player, but they have a dude, right, who will go to Castellanos and say, listen, you bleepity blank, you don't put out dirty laundry out into the world. And I know it makes me sound like an old timer, get off my lawn, but
there's nothing wrong with that, Josh.
But you understand what I'm saying.
I do. And here's the thing, the 93 team had Macho Row.
Exactly.
Last year you had Brandon Graham for the Eagles, and you had Dawkins who did it before him.
Well, also you go down to 2017, they had Malcolm Jenkins.
Yes,
Chris
Malcolm
Long.
Jenkins. Every team has that guy. This Phillies team, and that's what I said to earlier in my show about they seem like they're just too businesslike. Like JT Realmuto doesn't seem like he would ever say something.
Well, let me ask you a question. And
Bryce Harper, hold on before you ask me the question. Bryce Harper, we don't really know if he would. I'm not getting the impression that he would pull him aside. I don't think he will. I don't think he has.
Let me ask you. Do you think that Harper, Schwarber, and Realmuto are too nice?
Too nice? I think they're too
too chummy, too we're all buddies
too
here.
Nice. I wouldn't
I think they're too
nice.
quiet.
Too
quiet.
I always think a good organization, whether it's hockey, baseball, football, whatever, needs a guy like Udonis Haslem for the Miami Heat. Didn't play a second of basketball, but he was in there. He was a culture setter.
Right, he's a police guy.
Yeah,
in the locker room.
I listened to a podcast that Kevin Garnett was on. I believe it was his own podcast.
Yeah,
he was
Kevin
talking
Garnett's
about
podcast. Yeah,
where when he went back to Minnesota and he said all these young guns in there, they were on their phone during halftime, not keeping their lockers clean.
Yeah.
And he went in there and he said, "Hey, no, we're keeping this a tight ship here. You need OG."
That's what the Phillies.
I don't think so. I wouldn't say just too nice. I would just say they're real professional, and I don't think they would.
I don't know if
is that the word?
Nah, I think the word is probably more like they're Alex said, they're too reserved. They're not. Billy, you talked about during the locker room about how you want a little emotion from your guys, and I'm not saying I need
Bader
every guy to
that,
be.
But he wasn't here long enough.
He wasn't here long enough, but like Alex was saying, you need a Udonis Haslem type guy, like an older veteran who can walk in the locker room and just say enough is enough.
I also think this Phillies team, and has been since this core group of guys has been here, it's too mentally weak. They let the ballpark at the bank get to them, and I think if these guys do have a guy in that locker room who grabs Castellanos aside and just starts telling him the business, I think these guys are so mentally weak. They'll let them affect.
Yeah, I don't think either one of those three guys, at least doesn't look to me like they would do that. No, I don't think so.
The Locker Room Belly Schwein back tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. on Sunday on 97.3 ESPN. Thanks, Billy.
See you, Josh.
Thanks for playing Joe Henry over here. You're only going to get Joe Henry references on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Hanging with Hennig, of course, we got Frank Klose, our Phillies insider from 97.3 ESPN.com. We'll get more into it with him about what should the Phillies do this offseason. What can they do this offseason? Frank will answer those questions next. Josh Hennig, Alex Berard is hanging with me, the 97.3 ESPN studios, streaming live on YouTube and X in the Dr. Squatch virtual studios. Josh Hennig hanging out with you on 97.3 ESPN. This football season, catch every game at the best sports bar in South Jersey. Yesterday's Creekside Tavern in Marmora features every Eagles game with the sound on, along with the biggest college football games on their TVs every Saturday. Don't miss out on yesterday's nightly food special starting at 5 p.m. Monday through Thursday, along with reverse happy hour specials 9 p.m. to close each week. Plus, with the Flyers and Sixers season starting up, the place to be to watch the game is yesterday's Creekside Tavern on Roosevelt Boulevard in Marmora. So call your friends and catch all the games at the Y.
For 23 years, we've helped athletes at all levels of Klemic Performance Method, from youth to pros, increase maximum velocity, acceleration, vertical leaps, and general physical preparedness. We offer youth, high school, and pro college classes. Our proven results have earned national recognition from NFL coaches, sponsors, and a feature on ESPN Radio's Sports Science segment. You can contact me directly at 609-742-6190, or as always, visit us on our website, KlemicPerformanceMethod.com.
Wow, what's this? New flannels, new jacket, and new boots? Did you go to the Hub?
I sure did. They have all the clothes needed for the cold weather.
Do they have anything for me?
They've got women's shirts, boots, jackets, and more. It's about time you go to the Hub.
Is it time to get a new pair of work boots? Then it's time to get to the Hub. Let their friendly staff help you pick out a pair of comfortable, rugged, and waterproof boots. The Hub offers a complete selection of boots from Wolverine, Carolina, Georgia Boot, Rocky, Carhartt, and Timberland Pro. Be sure to check out their line of clothing from Dickies, Carhartt, Camber, and Wigwam. Get to the Hub, specializing in outdoor gear from brands you know and trust. Visit the Hub inside the Summers Point Shopping Center or on Route 40 inside the Mays Landing Diner Shopping Center. Whether you're regular, big, or tall, the Hub fits them all. Here today, here to stay. Also visit online at summerspointhub.com. No matter what the season, the Hub's got you covered. They have a full line of apparel and boots for men, with a limited selection for ladies as well. Come and check out the Hub in Summers Point or Mays Landing.
Introducing your new Dell PC with the Intel Core Ultra processor. It helps you handle a lot, even when your holiday to-do list gets to be a lot. Like organizing your holiday shopping and searching for great holiday deals and customer questions and customers requesting custom things, plus planning the perfect holiday dinner for vegans, vegetarians, pescatarians, and Uncle Mike's carnivore diet. Luckily, you can get a PC with all-day battery life to help you get it all done. That's the power of a Dell PC with Intel inside, backed by Dell's price match guarantee. Get yours today at Dell.com/deals. Terms and conditions apply. See Dell.com for details.
Looking to lower your energy bills and boost home comfort? South Jersey Gas has you covered with a no-cost in-home, whole-home energy assessment. Our energy expert will review your home's energy efficiency and provide a personalized report of energy-saving improvements. Plus, you may also receive energy-efficient upgrades like faucet aerators, smart power strips, and LED light bulbs at no cost to you. Don't wait to save money and energy. Schedule your whole-home energy assessment today at sjgsaveenergy.com or call 201-690-7897 today.
Whatever your vision for holiday decorating, the Home Depot has what you need to bring it to life. Like our warm white holiday lights with steady lit technology, so your lights stay glowing even if one bulb fails. Whether you're going for a soft, warm glow or a colorful display of holiday cheer, choose from our wide variety of holiday lights starting at $5 in store only. Find everything you need to get your holidays started with the Home Depot.
Are you ready to sell your home? Call Dave Beach. He makes sure his clients receive the very best in service. Dave Beach at RE/MAX Community is your trusted local expert. Fast closings, top offers, and service just like your family. 609-685-4942. Online at soldbydavebeach.com.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Gill from the Sports Bash. You know, I've been telling you about my friends over at the Nizam's restaurant. Well, don't forget their Eagle special is back. You get a free order of spicy tandoori chicken wings for dine-in customers when the Eagles win. They also have a great lunch buffet on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and has a great banquet space that can seat up to 100 people for private events and celebrations. So what are you waiting for? Try out the Nizam's in Harbor Square, Egg Harbor Township, right outside of Boscov's.
Automotive Avenues, your family-owned, pre-owned dealership is growing and now has a second location in Sewell. Automotive Avenues brings the power of wholesale to the public. They make financing easy. Good credit, bad credit, no credit. You are still approved. Find out why Automotive Avenues has won customer satisfaction awards for the last 8 years. Discover why everybody loves Automotive Avenues of Sewell on Delsey Drive. Or check out their expanded inventory now at automotiveavenuesnj.com. And don't forget, go Birds!
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Caesars Sportsbook app is the only sportsbook app with Caesars rewards. Bet on gridiron action and earn perks on every game like hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Download the app using promo code RADIO20X and place your first bet of $1 or more for a chance to double your winnings on your next 20 bets. Open to new users in New Jersey who are 21 or older. Max bet of $25 for boosted winnings. Max additional winnings $2,500 per bet. Profit boost tokens expire 14 days after receipt. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now back to Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
I don't want them to gain another yard.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
You bitch all night!
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig back here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. And don't forget, it is the return of Boxing Insider Promotions, their next action-packed event to the Tropicana showroom in Atlantic City, Friday, November 7th. Yes, the original great up-and-coming boxing show. Larry Goldberg made a promise 2 years ago, and he's fulfilled that promise, bringing nonstop action to the Tropicana showroom in Atlantic City, and they are back this time with the return of undefeated super welterweight Justin Figueroa, his first fight back in Atlantic City since winning a belt this summer. The stacked boxing card includes undefeated heavyweight from Absecamby High School, Bruce Selden Jr., along with rising star in women's boxing from South Jersey, Leah Lewandowski, plus internationally top-ranked heavyweight Otto Whalen makes his return to Atlantic City, and don't miss out on all the top prospects in action. Friday, November 7th. Tickets are on sale now for the biggest boxing event of the fall season. Inside Tropicana showroom in Atlantic City. Visit Ticketmaster.com to reserve your spot for the action-packed event presented by Boxing Insider Promotions on Friday, November 7th. Let's get back to the Phillies conversation right now. Frank Klose is our Phillies insider from 97.3 ESPN.com. And I know that these conversations are not necessarily fun as Frank joins us, as Alex Berardis is still with me on 97.3 ESPN. Frank, welcome in. How you doing today?
I'm doing okay. How are you guys?
We're doing all right, because I was saying before you came on, Frank, that I always felt this team was not good enough to win a championship, right? I always felt there were too many flaws. It's just a roster that was high risk, high reward. And I just don't know, Frank, where you start this offseason to fix this team, because you're tied into so many contracts. Like, Dave Dombrowski has spent a lot of resources and a lot of money on a lot of guys, and now you're kind of stuck with some of these guys.
You know, I think back to the circumstances under which Dave Dombrowski took over this Phillies team. This was a team that didn't have a good farm system. This was a team that really was just plain flailing. I mean, Andy McPhail and Matt Klentak era was just basically wasted. How long did that take? 5 to 8 years?
Yeah.
But, you know, he was basically coming in with nothing, and he was basically forced to build a new team by signing free agents and at the same time doing what he can to not trade any prospect capital that he had and replenish it at the same time. Now, that was a tall task, and under those circumstances, I think that was he overall did a very good job, because it's hard to just throw money, and especially money that doesn't cost you draft picks, and go from a fledgling 81 win team perennially to someone who's won the National League East twice in a row and made the playoffs 4 years in a row. So when I look at what they have now, it was kind of what they had to do to get back in. But I don't think that at the same time, I don't think it's crippling. Yeah, he had to make some really long commitments to get the player. Trey Turner, I think the goal was that they were going to get somebody that took them over the top. I mean, when you think about when they signed him, it was the middle infield of Didi Gregorius and Gene Segura, and they had a bunch of poor defense going on, and it seemed like he was going to be the missing piece. Now, it took him a while to get going, but Trey Turner did win a batting title this year, and I don't think he's as immovable as you do, Josh. I've heard you say that a couple times already this show, but I do agree there needs to be a change here. And I think there's no easy answer to what that change is. And I think that they have to go into this offseason with an open mind and really, really discern. I think that's the best I can come up with here right now.
So I want to follow up with that, because you mentioned about Trey Turner. So sell me on the idea that Trey Turner could be moved. Because again, it's not that I'm anti-Trey Turner, Frank. It's that you have to do something with this roster. Like, to me, Nick Castellanos has got to go. If you told me you got to trade Alec Boehm, I'm not against it. I understand you might need to move on from Bryson Stott if you're going to bring up Aiden Miller. Like, I understand there's going to be moves to be made, but you're saying there is a scenario where they could find a landing spot for Trey Turner's $300 million contract that expires in what, 2033?
Well, here's why I think that they could. Look at the Boston Red Sox. The contract to Rafael Devers was almost identical to Trey Turner's. Same offseason, by the way. And they found a taker, right? And I actually would prefer Turner of the two. I think Turner's got the better defense. And again, Trey Turner just won a batting title. Now, look, I don't know if the answer is trading Trey Turner, but I think they need to consider any possibility that makes the team better. And I think they can't be attached to any individuals, because I think those were mistakes of the past, right? Remember back when you didn't need to sign Mike Piazza because they had Mike Lieberthal and you loved him, right? Now, so, it was like I think we're in the era of Phillies baseball where you don't think that way. So I would say that you just need to, in wherever you can make yourself better, be willing to at least consider the possibility, even if in the interim or on the surface, it's uncomfortable, right? So what I mean, big picture is, if you need to say, well, listen, sorry, Kyle Schwarber, we love you, but we need to go in another direction because we have an opportunity. We can get into some of those. I think they need to be open to do it. If they have the ability to find another catcher that's not JT Realmuto, I think they need to consider it. And those are two names that I probably still think trend towards the Phillies re-signing, but I don't think they need to box themselves in, or they shouldn't box themselves in. I think that they should be broad-minded and really think about what makes them better for the long term and the short term. So it might be uncomfortable to make some decisions, but I think they're at the point where they need to at least consider doing something that makes them uncomfortable.
Frank, Alex here. That timing of the Trey Turner injury, I think, played a key factor in him just kind of disappearing in the playoffs. I'm a Trey Turner guy, so I'm honestly just kind of pulling at strings here to try to make this work with him. But how much truth to that do you think is, his timing was off so much at the plate? He couldn't catch up, it seemed like, to any fastball. He just looked so out of sorts at the plate. Do you think that timing of the injury and taking that time off right before the playoffs really affected him?
I do, and if it was me, I thought he needed to play that whole weekend against Minnesota. And now I think if the intention was, let's protect him from losing the batting title to Nico Horner, that's not the right decision, right? Because we've already seen many players at this season basically said, well, the hell with my own personal accolades, and Christopher Sanchez just quietly saying no to the All-Star game and not even telling his teammates, right? The way that Ranger Suarez also kind of turned down the All-Star. Like, you've had all these individual accolades just not been a consideration for the team. I don't know that you would worry about something like that. Now, it sounded like they were ready to bring him up sooner, and they said, oh, let's just wait till the last day. And then they only gave him 2 at-bats. I definitely think his timing might have been an issue there. And I don't care what you say. Like, you can call up Alan Ronhill from AAA and have him throw to Trey Turner all day long. It's not the same as intense game action. So I think the mistake was not giving him more bats before they went into the playoffs.
We're talking with 97.3 ESPN.com Phillies insider Frank Klose. His Phillies mailbag throughout the Phillies season. It started on Sports Bash here on 97.3, 97.3 ESPN.com for more Phillies coverage. Frank, speaking of the infield, what do you think? Like, if I always like to do the question, if Dave Dombrowski stopped Frank Klose at the local craft brewery and asked Frank what he would do with the Phillies infield, what would your answer be?
And he can find me there, that's for sure.
That's why I said it. Yeah.
Yeah. So my answer to him would be basically see what you can do. I mean, one of the best sluggers in Japan, Munetaka Murakami, is a left-handed free agent, and he's played mostly third base, but it's probably a first baseman. I think you need to think about if he fits. I think you need to even go wider. Think about Alex Bregman. If I don't think Alex Bregman's like a superstar. He's probably going to want too much money, but at least consider it. Consider the possibilities, because Alec Boehm, he's going into his last year of his rookie contract, so he could be someone you could trade for other pieces. Yeah, and explore the trade market. I think it's clear that yes, you do need room for Aiden Miller at some point, not immediately. You might be comfortable saying, "Hey, Amundo Sosa, take a position for a while, and then wait for Miller to rise." But I just would say keep an open mind. See what you can do. See who you can find. There's no magic wand you can wave and fix it. Now, I seriously believe that last offseason the Phillies were open to moving Alec Boehm. And I think that it was a situation where they were not forced to by any means, and so they kind of rolled with it because another opportunity didn't present itself. But I think there might be some more pieces available, or more wiggle room this offseason, especially after Boehm, for the most part, did a good job this year. I think that's an opportunity number one to make a move in some way, right? See what you can get back in return, and meanwhile explore who's out there. Now, Bryson Stott, he is somebody that let me put it this way, because it doesn't affect just the infield. You really saw on Tuesday, not Tuesday. When did they play? Monday. Anyway, all the games ran together. It was a long week. But you really saw where having 3 platoons really hurt the team, right? Because game 2, you have them all start the right-handed side of the platoon. Well, wait, here comes in the right-handed reliever. Now we got to put all 3 people back in, and flip that over. Well, then all of a sudden, then you have left-handed relievers, and then what? You're back to doing what you said you couldn't do from the start, which was, go lefty on lefty. So I think you need some position. You need to clear up at least 1, if not 2 of those platoons. Have starting players that can hit against both sides of the mound, right? Because you just can't keep having that happening, because 3 roster spots essentially wasted, right? Because they only exist to be the other half of a platoon, and then you have no bench. So I think this is a bigger picture question than just the infield here, as they discern how close Aiden Miller is to joining the major leagues. Could be sometime this year coming up, might not be. But again, figuring out how you can have fewer platoons, and also too the matter of Schwarber. If adding a Murakami is the way that you replace Schwarber, then that could have some domino effects. So I would have a big whiteboard up in the GM's office there, and really seeing what they can do with what they have.
Well, speaking of that whiteboard, a couple more from Frank Klose here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Who's at the top of the whiteboard? Who's the guy that, you have to bring back? Because you got a lot of free agents here. JT Realmuto, Kyle Schwarber, Ranger Suarez, Harrison Bader. Well, I know it's a mutual option, right? So there's a chance he's a free agent, chance he's not a free agent, but still you have to make decisions here, right, Frank? So, who is at the top of the whiteboard here for the Phillies?
Of the ones that are potentially free agents, well, I mean, I think you try to keep Bader. I think it worked well for both sides this year, and he's played on a lot of teams for someone that talented, which is surprising. So, the mutual option is for like $10 million. I'd say, look, can 3 and 39 do it? I think I would do that. I would shore up center field with Bader because you really saw what having an elite glove means to your team. And then beyond that, geez, I mean, I'm a big Ranger Suarez guy, and I've always been, but he seems to be the one who's expendable at this point because Zach Wheeler's coming back, Andrew Painter's rising up, and even without Zach Wheeler and Andrew Painter this year, they still had 5 starters. So that there's some wiggle room in the starting rotation. As much as I hate to see it, Suarez might not be someone that you overpay for. Someone's going to overpay for Suarez, right? I mean, he's too good not to have someone do it. Someone's going to be more desperate than the Phillies to sign a Suarez. So I think he goes. And then look, I think you figure out how you find the best way to spend the $30 million that will go to Schwarber or somebody else. And I say it that way because, it's Kyle Tucker who can play right field very well for you every day and has had around the 5 WAR for many seasons in a row. At this point, the better choice compared to Kyle Schwarber. I think that's a real question. Now, did the Phillies box themselves out by having too many long contracts at this point? I don't know, but to me, I think there's a scenario you can envision where that's the better spending of the money. It's going to be $30 million if you bring in Schwarber. Probably be $30 million if you bring in a Tucker type player. So, what's the best decision? So, I think Bader easy. I think it's a really tough no on Suarez. And then the Schwarber question, look, I'd be open-minded to other possibilities, even though it would be really awful to see him come into town next year as a visiting player in the home run derby at the All-Star game. So that's, to me, that's not something that you take lightly. But hey, if you bring in Kyle Tucker, I think that replaces Schwarber adequately, and he plays a position.
A name you did not bring up there was JT Realmuto. I personally think he's probably the one guy at a discounted rate you would have to bring back, just because I don't know in the catcher market at this time who is there to replace him. Is there anybody like that I'm not thinking of that could be replaceable for JT Realmuto?
Yeah, so there's only one name out there that I think could possibly be the replacement for JT Realmuto. And that would be Adley Rutschman of the Baltimore Orioles. So you say, well, why might the Orioles trade him? Well, the answer is their top prospect's a catcher and is ready to rise to the major leagues. So the Orioles, in order to get some of the things accomplished that they need and take the roster that went from a playoff team to the basement last year, they need to get back on track. So to me, even though they say, well, they can play first base too, I think Rutschman can be had. So again, that's one of the situations where I agree with you that there might be an opportunity for Realmuto to come back to the Phillies on a discounted rate. But again, I think you need to be honest, because you don't want to just run everybody back, right? That's kind of the discussion we're having right now, is that you need to change the mix here, right? But I mean, but the Orioles, look, they have Rutschman. He's got 2 years of arbitration left. And then their top prospect, Samuel Basallo, they've already signed him to an 8-year, $67 million deal. I don't believe they did that expecting to have him play first base, and abandon the catching position. So I think that's something that you really need to look at. If you can be the one who lands Rutschman, I think you do it.
He's Frank Klose, our Phillies insider from 973ESPN.com. Follow him at Frank Klose, one name, one word on the X platform. And of course, Phillies season ends. What is next? We'll be talking about it all offseason, and Frank will have you covered here with 97.3 ESPN. Frank, appreciate you jumping on today.
Always good to talk to you guys.
Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN is always being brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook, the only sportsbook app with Caesars rewards. Bet on gridiron action and earn perks on every game like hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Download the app using promo code Radio20X and place your first bet of $1 or more for a chance to double your winnings on your next 20 bets. Open the new users in New Jersey who are 21 or older. Max bet at $25 for boosted winnings. Max additional winnings, $2,500 per bet. Profit boost. Tokens expire 14 days after receipt. See Caesars.com/promo for full terms. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. We will check in on the text board coming up next, 609-403-0973. Hanging with Hennig along with Alex Berardis live in the 97.3 ESPN studios. On 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle, and streaming live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio.
Get ready to level up your game day at Tropicana Atlantic City. Introducing Gridiron Pit, powered by Caesars Sportsbook, a high-energy fan zone where blackjack meets big screens, bold bites, and big wins. Play your hand, catch every snap, indulge in tailgate-inspired food and drinks, and spin the big wheel of prizes. Every Saturday and Sunday throughout football season, Gridiron Pit, where the thrill of the game meets the rush of the table. Located near the cashier cage. Learn more at Caesars.com. Must be 21 or older. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Automotive Avenues, your family-owned, pre-owned dealership is growing and now has a second location in Sewell. Automotive Avenues brings the power of wholesale to the public. They make financing easy. Good credit, bad credit, no credit. You are still approved. Find out why Automotive Avenues has won customer satisfaction awards for the last 8 years. Discover why everybody loves Automotive Avenues of Sewell on Delsey Drive, or check out their expanded inventory now at automotiveavenusnj.com. And don't forget, go Birds!
Upgrade your laundry routine with a durable and reliable Maytag laundry pair at Lowe's. Like the new Maytag washer and dryer with performance-enhanced stain-fighting power, designed to cut through serious dirt and grime. And what's great is this laundry pair is in stock and ready for delivery when you need it the most. Don't miss out. Shop Maytag in-store or online today at Lowe's.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Gill from the Sports Bash. You know, I've been telling you about my friends over at the Nizam's restaurant. Well, don't forget, their Eagles special is back. You get a free order of spicy tandoori chicken wings for dine-in customers when the Eagles win. They also have a great lunch buffet on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and has a great banquet space that can seat up to 100 people for private events and celebrations. So what are you waiting for? Try out the Nizam's in Harbor Square, Egg Harbor Township, right outside of Boscov's.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wow, what's this? New flannels, new jacket, and new boots? Did you go to the Hub?
I sure did. They have all the clothes needed for the cold weather.
Do they have anything for me?
They've got women's shirts, boots, jackets, and more. It's about time you go to the Hub.
Is it time to get a new pair of work boots? Then it's time to get to the Hub. Let their friendly staff help you pick out a pair of comfortable, rugged, and waterproof boots. The Hub offers a complete selection of boots from Wolverine, Carolina, Georgia Boot, Rocky, Carhartt, and Timberland Pro. Be sure to check out their line of clothing from Dickies, Carhartt, Camber, and Wigwam. Get to the Hub, specializing in outdoor gear from brands you know and trust. Visit the Hub inside the Summers Point Shopping Center or on Route 40 inside the Mays Landing Diner Shopping Center. Whether you're regular, big, or tall, the Hub fits them all. Here today, here to stay. Also visit online at summerspointhub.com. No matter what the season, the Hub's got you covered. They have a full line of apparel and boots for men, with a limited selection for ladies as well. Come and check out the Hub in Summers Point or Mays Landing.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
The Home Depot has everything you need to turn your home into a beacon of holiday cheer. So whether you're going all out or just adding a few holiday touches, we've got you covered with trees, yard decor, and more. Save time decorating with one of our easy-to-assemble pre-lit trees, or pick up a piece from our Yuletide Lane decor collection and fill your yard with holiday joy. Whatever your style, find everything to get your holidays started at the Home Depot.
Caesars Sportsbook app is the only sportsbook app with Caesars rewards. Bet on gridiron action and earn perks on every game like hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Download the app using promo code RADIO20X and place your first bet of $1 or more for a chance to double your winnings on your next 20 bets. Open to new users in New Jersey who are 21 or older. Max bet at $25 for boosted winnings. Max additional winnings, $2,500 per bet. Profit boost tokens expire 14 days after receipt. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. If you or someone you know has gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
You're hanging with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
Hey, you know what? There's another name you might know me by. Star-Lord.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Who? Star-Lord, man. Legendary outlaw.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig back here in the 97.3 ESPN studios, streaming live on YouTube and X in the Dr. Squatch virtual studios at Josh Hennig. And of course, Hanging with Hennig is always being brought to you by the best sports bar in South Jersey, where you want to catch every game this football season. Yesterday's Creekside Tavern on Roosevelt Boulevard in Marmora, with every Eagles game featuring the sound on and the biggest college football games every Saturday. Don't miss out on yesterday's nightly food special starting at 5 p.m. Monday through Thursday, along with reverse happy hour specials, 9 p.m. to close each week. Plus, yesterday's Creekside Tavern Marmora has not just the sound on for the Eagles, but guess what? Sixers season around the corner. Flyers are back on the ice, so you can catch all the games with your friends at the Y. Yesterday's Creekside Tavern, Roosevelt Boulevard in Marmora. As promised, I'm going to get to the text at 609-403-0973. Josh Hennig joined by Alex Berardis here in the 97.3 ESPN studios. Glenn from Abasecam. Well, he's got a lot to say, but I want to focus on a couple of things. He said specifically, he says, Harper has to be the guy. He was the guy when it came to telling the commissioner where to go when he didn't agree with that proposition. He should be able to get the teammates' ears and let them know what they need to do. Harper has to be that guy. I think it's a very interesting comment, Alex, because from Glenn Abasecam. Where has Harper been during this Castellanos stuff? Like, I don't know. Does he semi-agree with Castellanos? Does he not care? Do they look at Castellanos just the black sheep that just stays in the corner of the locker room? Like, why is the Harper is the guy who will tell the commissioner to get out of the locker room, but he won't tell Castellanos to chill out?
You would think as a big of a superstar that Bryce Harper is, he should be the voice in that locker room. It's just, it is kind of mind boggling that he's not, and that they just don't have anybody in that locker room who can be that guy.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like Harper can be that guy necessarily. Glenfram goes on and brings up a good point. He says, I've been hearing the same thing with Phillies prospects for years, yet nobody ever brings them up. Do the Phillies know how to get these guys ready, or will they not be young anymore by the time you bring them up? That's a great question, because other teams like the Brewers and the Dodgers and others, they're like, look at the Red Sox, right? Hey, this guy, we need him. Bring him up. The Phillies, it's like they're they treat their players like they're a distillery. Like, we need to keep them in the barrel for like 5 years before we can like open it.
Well, we were like heading towards that direction, it seems like, and then Painter just fell off a cliff, right? I feel like as soon as July was the time they were going to bring him up, right?
So the original plan was Dombrowski said back in March, around July or August,
and then he fell off a cliff.
But see, I still would have called him up in September. Like, instead of calling up Garrett Stubbs and Tim Mazzei, I would have said, Crawford, Painter, come up for a month. Let's see what you got. What would have been the harm in that?
I completely agree with you. But then also Crawford, how has he not been up? Is that a little concerning that he is not up? I feel like this was the whole conversation of the summer.
I think the organization, they, like Glenn Epstein said, they keep these guys marinating forever. One, and two, the signing of Max Kepler, I think, created a dynamic that forced them to trade for Bader. And once they traded for Bader and Kepler started hitting again, they decided no on Crawford. I think that's my working theory, at least.
And then Bader was fighting for his job, or not Bader, excuse me. Max Kepler, he was fighting for his job. He was on thin ice there, and then he just somehow turned that completely around. And then I think that completely just ruined all things of Crawford coming up this year.
Exactly. Anonymous texter chimed in at 609-403-0970. I would love to give this guy credit. So if you text in, please do, because I love the text from this texter. He says, Chris Sanchez is a dog. Harrison Bader's a dog. Johan Duran's a dog. These guys I want to see back next season. I feel like Harper used to have the dog, and he lost that mentality. Harper's a former MVP. He's the guy who needs to be this team's vocal leader, the guy who needs to keep teammates like Castellanos in check. I think the error on Kerkering will light a fire under him, and he will be that dog next season. We need to dump Castellanos and come out stronger next season. Mic drop.
There's a lot of things there. A lot of good things too. I gotta be honest.
I love the use of the dog, like he's referencing the Pat McAfee show, but he's 100% correct. Like,
I would have liked the AWG.
AWG, yeah. Well, you may be doing voice to text for all I know.
True.
But I will say, I love the intensity. Like, look, these guys are dogs. They're going to go out there and fight and claw and compete. We need to see that from Harper again. And maybe he's right. Maybe the Kerkering fiasco, we'll call it, will be the thing that Harper needs to realize my team may see more from me. We can only hope for that. Josh Hennig along with Alex Berard is here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM, streaming live on YouTube and X in the Dr. Squatch virtual studios. Coming up on the other side, more Phillies as well as Eagles. We got to get to the Eagles' embarrassing loss on Thursday Night Football. Josh Hennig hanging with you on 97.3 ESPN.
Are you ready to sell your home? Call Dave Beach. He makes sure his clients receive the very best in service. Dave Beach at RE/MAX Community is your trusted local expert. Fast closings, top offers, and service just like your family. 609-685-4942. Online at soldbydavebeach.com.
Here's some great news. Feeling younger is as easy as going for a brisk walk. In fact, we can feel up to 16 years younger. That's according to a recent study from the University of Leicester in the UK. They found a strong link between how fast we walk and how fast we age. After analyzing genetic data of more than 400,000 adults, they discovered brisk walking leads to longer telomeres, the protective caps at the end of our DNA strands. The longer our telomeres, the younger we are in terms of biological age, not actual age. So how much walking is needed to get these benefits? Only 10 minutes a day, but it needs to be at a brisk pace. So lace up your sneakers, take a walk, and start feeling younger today. I'm Robin Stoloff for Health Update.
It's the ACUA's Recycled Art Contest. Create art from recyclable or trash materials and drop it off at participating Atlantic County libraries by October 31st. Winners awarded at ACUA's America Recycles Day celebration in November. Visit acua.com/art contest.
Here in New Jersey, it's one wow after another, after another, after another. I'm Chief Meteorologist Dan Zarrow. Imagine strolling through over 6,000 wow-worthy hand-carved jack-o'-lanterns. Well, you don't have to imagine it. You just have to visit Skyland Stadium Jack-o'-lantern Experience in Augusta. The spectacular 45-minute walkthrough attraction also features seasonal food and drink, live music, an interactive corn maze, and more. What a great way to get into the Halloween spirit. Find your wow at visitnj.org. New Jersey, little state, lot of wow.
Right now at the Home Depot, shop fall savings and get up to 40% off select appliances like Frigidaire. Get ready for a season of hosting with the Frigidaire Stone Baked Pizza Oven, the only oven that reaches 750 degrees for restaurant quality pizza in as little as 2 minutes. Start making hosting easier with fall appliance savings today at the Home Depot. Only when using Stone Baked Pizza mode. Offer valid October 2nd through October 22nd. U.S. only. See store online for details.
Woo! Get to Nola's Bar and Lounge and Ocean Casino Resort for an epic Halloween party, Friday, October 31st, Halloween night. Enjoy spooktacular cocktails, live entertainment by Steal the Sky, and a chance to win amazing prizes like tickets to Bush and the Totally Tubular Festival, overnight stays, and much more. Don't miss out on the most thrilling Halloween party of the year. Learn more at theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
South Jersey's official play-by-play home of the Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers.
At 0 point would I ever consider not being a fan of the team.
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
Finally! This is Hanging with Hennig.
I have friends everywhere.
On 97.3 ESPN Radio, South Jersey.
In New Jersey. Am I right? Yeah.
Live feed on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
It seems to run on some form of electricity. Well, you're not wrong.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together.
Now, here's your host.
He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Josh Hennig.
Hour 2 of Hanging with Hennig, back in the 97.3 ESPN studios. 97.3 ESPN FM, being joined today by Alex Berardis for the 3-hour tour. Still to come this hour, we have Andy McNamara, our weekly conversation about fantasy football. I got a feeling Alex has got some questions for Andy because, so for those who don't know, the 97.3 ESPN League, we're all in the same league together.
We didn't have to go here.
And
we didn't have to bring this up.
I'm just saying, Alex, you know.
What hurts the worst? Okay, I'm 0-5. I'll just.
Yeah. I wasn't going to go there. I was just going to say you're having a rough year.
I think the thing that hurts most is I was preseason projected number 1 in this league. And then Joe Burrow, Chase Brown is one of the worst draft picks I've had in my fantasy career, I think.
That's what, like 6 years?
Yeah. But hey, the past 2 years, I won back-to-back in my house league in college. The Chase Brown has been horrible just because of the Joe Burrow injury. And then I took Brian Thomas Jr. I had the second pick, so I came around.
Right.
And, yeah, BTJ has done not great for me.
No. Well, I'm just saying, you know, maybe Andy can give you some advice on what you should do.
I need anything at this point.
You know, moving forward. I was actually going to submit a trade to you at one point, but then I realized that I didn't think I had enough that you would actually be interested in to trade you.
Well, at this point, to the rest of the league, if you're listening right now, inbox is open.
Inbox is open. Nice. We'll talk with Andy coming up in about 20 minutes from now. We'll also check on the text board at 609-403-0973. And we will get to the Eagles because I was up late last night, Alex, watching the All-22 for the Eagles game on Thursday. But I do want to finish on the Phillies conversation because the one name that we haven't hit on enough during the show today has been probably the biggest name that we haven't touched on, which is Kyle Schwarber. We have not touched on the Kyle Schwarber question enough because, and if we're being fair, if we're being 100% fair, Kyle Schwarber, he might be actually the most important name in this conversation because Kyle Schwarber is the guy that he was your best player this year. He is an MVP candidate. He led the league in home runs and RBI and all that stuff. But he might not be back this year. And so it's like, how are you going to fill the void of 56 home runs, 132 RBI with what? And I think that is the conundrum, because on the surface, nobody is filling that void on this current team. So is it priority? Because you heard Frank Klose. He didn't say Schwarber was the number one on the board, right? When I asked him, what's the whiteboard? He said Harrison Bader first. He didn't say Kyle Schwarber. And he even said, hey, you go out and get Ali Rushman. You replace you. Like, Frank's given all these answers that don't involve bringing back Kyle Schwarber. So should Kyle Schwarber be the priority? Because I'm a big Kyle Schwarber guy. I love Schwarber. I think that the way the players love him, the community has embraced him, Schwarbombs, Hoagie Fest, the beer, like the dude, he just screams he should be a Philadelphia Philly. But will he be a Philadelphia Philly? Alex Berardis.
He's such an interesting case, but I think his age is going to be a tough thing. He's 32 now. By next season, he'll be 33. He is going to want, and rightfully deserve, a humongous contract. Probably, what, for 4 years, 5 years, maybe you'd think?
I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be a 4-year deal only because most of Schwarber's life, he has signed 4-year deals.
So then you're getting him another guy until he's, what, 36, 37? I'm not opposed to bringing back Schwarber, obviously, but was this the best Kyle Schwarber that we're going to see if he signs a new contract for the duration of that contract, which I think, yeah. Who knows? He might be the Derrick Henry where he's just an ageless wonder. But
I wouldn't go with Derrick Henry, but I would say that there's a long baseball history of guys who, because his skill set is not dependent on a depreciating value, right? Like, he's not a speedster getting older, right? He's not a freakishly athletic guy. He's just country strong.
Now, I do like in this specific free agency class, there are some options you could go with. We had a great conversation during the break. We held off on it until we were back on air. But Bryce Harper, I'm a little worried that we've seen the last of the showman. And, you know, he's 32 now, also turning 33. He's dealt with so many injuries. The natural progression in the MLB is, you know, you play the field, you move to first base, then you move to DH. And who's in DH right now? Kyle Schwarber.
Right.
So is there a world where Schwarbs, I love everything you've done for us. You can't express that enough, the gratitude I've had for what you've done for this team and for this city. But it's got to be a mutual agreement. Like, we just have to go in a different direction. You move Bryce to the DH spot. Maybe you bring in a guy like Pete Alonso to first base.
It's really difficult because
there's no right answer, I think, in this situation.
No, there's not. And I totally get that. I just feel like for this organization, right? For an organization that, I mean, let's be realistic. The Phillies are in a no-win situation because Schwarber should have been the guy that you signed to the 5-year deal and not Castellanos. You signed Schwarber to the 4-year deal. So now you're stuck with him, right? You're stuck with this guy. And what do you do now? I don't think there's a right answer necessarily, but I would just hate to see this organization move on from Schwarber when it's not necessary, if that makes sense.
Well, then would you rather, tough hypothetical, put you on the spot, give Kyle the 4 or 5 year deal worth $130 or so million, or give the 4-year deal to Pete Alonso and go down that trajectory and kind of retool this lineup?
It's an excellent question. I don't think it's an unfair question at all for a variety of reasons. I don't think that I don't think you should factor out the Alonso, mostly because, if I'm being honest, like if I'm being brutally honest, I think Alonso fits this team, right? Like, Alonso is a guy who fits what your team needs.
I think if he hit 272, 38 home runs, 126 RBIs. That's a great year. That's a really good year.
Yeah.
And then he's a right-handed bat. So if you could kind of slot him in that Schwarber spot, hitting before Bryce Harper or interchange where you got to pitch to him because you can't walk him because then you got that next guy coming up. And then if we've faced so much in this playoffs, back-to-back lefties where it was Schwarber and Harper killed us. Now you get another bomber with Alonso, but he's on the opposite side of the plate.
Right. Again, I'm not saying it's the right answer, but I'm willing to have the conversation.
Did I just talk myself into?
You might have.
I think I really did.
You really did. And that's a bad job by you.
Yeah, I know.
He's Alex Berardis. I'm Josh Hennig. We're hanging with you here on 97.3 ESPN, talking a lot of Phillies as the Phillies offseason is here. The season ended way earlier than any of us wanted to. 609-403-0973. And yes, Steve from Ventnor, I'm reading your text. For those who don't know, I know Steve personally. And it doesn't matter. It's not about who reads your text, Steve. It's just about, listen, I'll read it, okay? He wants to trade Castellanos and Taijuan Walker for Mike Trout. Sign Pete Alonso. Sign Trevor Rogers for the bullpen. All right. First of all, you got to understand, Steve from Ventnor. The reason why Mike Gill doesn't read your text is because people can't take you seriously when you say a package deal of Nick Castellanos and Taijuan Walker for anyone.
Well, he sent another one in.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Listen, Steve.
Sorry, Steve.
Mike's never going to read your text if you keep bringing up Taijuan Walker. Okay? Taijuan Walker is not a tradable asset. I can't believe Frank Klose said trade Turner is a tradable asset. Okay? That's the world we live in. So it's not about no one wants to read your text, Steven Ventnor. It's the reality that you're naming guys for trades that are not logical. The Mike Trout thing is something that is a pipe dream for certain people. I know it. He's a Millville kid. Listen, I remember him playing 3 sports in high school. He's a football, basketball. By the way, his senior year, Alex, you were too young for this. Mike Trout's senior year of basketball, he averaged a double-double.
That's just one of those guys. Cooper DeJean-esque, not to the same level, but some guys just have it like that where they're just freak athletes.
So Trout, I understand, is a very popular name for a lot of people in this area. He is a guy who's building a golf course with Tiger Woods down here, all that stuff. But we don't need another old guy. We don't need another old aging player who's being paid stupid money.
That's the thing about Bregman and Schwarber that does worry me a bit.
But see, to me, Schwarber, him getting older is like, I'm trying to think of Frank Thomas back in the day. Like Frank Thomas could hit because his hitting was not based on athleticism, right? To me, Schwarber is a guy who that ability, that power, that's not going away with age. Like you ever watch those, like the banana ball? I know Dave Clement loves banana ball, for example. But banana ball, you look at some of those guys, they didn't lose their ability to play baseball. They lost their ability to run fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Schwarber's never been the most athletic dude. And the problem with Trout is one of the things that makes Mike Trout, to use the specific example, what makes Mike Trout such a frustrating entity is that what made him the 3-4-time MVP, or how many MVPs he won, is because he was the 5-tool athlete. He was the guy who could run, throw, hit. He could do everything, and he did everything at such a high level. And now he's basically a DH.
The time to get Trout, I think, was when he was a free agent, and he decided to re-sign. After that, I think it was...
But again, why did he re-sign? He re-signed because he felt a level of loyalty to an Angels team, because people forget, Mike Trout was not the number 1 overall pick. Every team in baseball basically passed on him. And then the Angels drafted him. So there's a part of him that feels this intense loyalty to an organization that when nobody else wanted him, they did. And I understand that. I appreciate that. And it's like Giannis Antetokounmpo with the Bucks. It's not that Giannis wants to leave the Bucks. He feels a level of loyalty to them. But for these guys, when they get older, like Trout, when the athleticism goes, when the athleticism dies, it's hard to rationalize bringing another old man here. Now, I like what Steven Bender said. Sign Alonso. I'm not against that. Sign Trevor Rogers. I'm not against that. I think those guys have a distinct and explicit value to help this team. But I'm not interested in Jordan Hicks. Nobody in their right mind is signing Taijuan Walker unless you're going to roofie them at the bar and then get them to make the deal, when they're sitting in the room and you put the pen in their hand to sign it. You know what I mean? Like, some like crazy espionage. I think the only way you're getting rid of Castellanos is if you pay someone to take him. And you're going to have to do that. You're going to have to get somebody to take Castellanos off your hand because he has made it very clear that he doesn't want to be here. He doesn't want to be here, so I don't want him here.
I'm right there with you. But the funniest thing about him is the past 2 postseasons, who's been one of the top guys who showed up hitting the ball? It's been Castellanos. No, I'd trade him for a bag of chips if I could. I really would.
And I don't think that you can get nothing for him. I don't believe that Castellanos has zero value.
I think if he wants out of Philly so bad, I do think him throwing these temper tantrums to the media makes it so much harder for him to get out of Philly. It's like, dude, you're self-destructing yourself. Like, shut up, stay quiet, and then it's so much easier for you to get what both sides want, you out of Philly. That's also what you want. If you would just shut up, we could make this work.
You mentioned that Frank Klose mentioned earlier about Adley Rutschman, right? And what if you go to the Orioles and said, look, we'll give you Alec Boehm, Nick Castellanos, we'll pay Nick Castellanos' contract, and we get Rutschman. I don't think anyone's saying no to that deal.
I would try to, make it a 50-50 on the Castellanos contract just to have some sort of wiggle room, but
there's no salary cap in baseball. So it's not like you're talking about
it still impacts it though.
It does. I think part of the problem with the Phillies is when John Middleton years ago talked about spending stupid money, and then they spent the money, right? They paid $300 million for Trey Turner. They gave the $100 million to Castellanos. They signed Schwarber. They gave Nola the extension. When you make the moves, it's hard to tell the fans, I'm running out of money, right? You know what I mean? When you're charging $50 to park at the game, when you're charging, it's going to cost you what, $24 to buy 2 beers, right?
Then do we go to Mike Gill's idea with the whole Yohan Duran charging the extra?
No, we don't. No, the point is that you have the money. So you can't tell the fans, I can't spend the money. Like, no, you got to just be a grown-up and be like, I told Nick Castellanos I'd pay him $100 million. So I can't get away with just trading him and hoping somebody else will pay it. Like, I just got to say to the Orioles or whoever, like, frankly, if I was a team, there's one team I would love if I was running the team acquiring Nick Castellanos. The Colorado Rockies. Send him to Colorado, inflate his stats, and then flip at the deadline.
It's not a bad.
That's what I would do. Like, send him to Colorado, let him hit 25 home runs in the first half of the season.
It'll be the only draw they have for.
Like, can you imagine Nick Castellanos just hitting bombs in Colorado, and then they trade him to a team like the Royals, and then he bats 200 for the rest of that year?
Dabbles in the greens over there, hitting bombs. Colorado could be the spot for him.
Oh my gosh. I'm just putting it out there. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I do think that the trading of the Castellanos thing is not crazy. And I do think he has some value because what you said, Alex, he has hit in the postseason. And guess what? He's younger than some of these guys out there.
He got so lucky on that. He tried the RBI in game 2 was so lucky. He just poked his bat out there and somehow just got on.
But guess what? There's going to be a team out there that looks at Castellanos and says, I can make that work.
Can't like Detroit or Cincinnati be like, hey, let's run this back? I don't know why they would want to, but can't
Detroit they? Probably not. I mean,
maybe you pitch it to Cincy as, hey, maybe you just add another piece.
Cincy might since he might, I think that's not irrational. He's Alex Berardis. I'm Josh Hennig. We're hanging with you on 97.3 ESPN. We got to get back to the NFL coming up on the other side, not just because of fantasy football conversation with Andy McNamara, but there's some interesting reporting happening right now at The Athletic. And I want to address it about A.J. Brown because there's a lot of speculation going on about A.J. Brown right now. And I'm not going to act like it's not real, but I am going to say we need to address it coming up on the show. But first, I want to tell you about Mike's Seafood. Run Walk for Autism is back for their 20th year Valentine's Day run. Run Walk for Autism is Saturday, February 14th on the boardwalk in Seattle City. Register now at polarbearrunwalkforautism.com because any day you can do something for children with disabilities, it is a good day. For those who don't know, Mike's Seafood, when they raise that money, it actually goes to help people with disabilities. Like they helped fund the brand new outpatient care facility at Shore Medical Center for children and adults with special needs. So you know when you are helping Mike's Seafood, you are helping the community at large. Again, Valentine's Day, Run and Walk for Autism is Saturday, February 14th. Go to polarbearrunwalkforautism.com. We are out there each year with 97.3 ESPN. I'm typically freezing my butt off, but we're out there to support the great cause because anytime you can do something for children with disabilities, it is a good day. Speaking of a good day, Andy McNamara, anytime we talk football with Andy is a good day, and we'll do that next. Josh Hennig, Alex Berardis, hanging out with you on 97.3 ESPN.
Get ready to level up your game day at Tropicana Atlantic City. Introducing Gridiron Pit, powered by Caesars Sportsbook, a high-energy fan zone where blackjack meets big screens, bold bites, and big wins. Play your hand, catch every snap, indulge in tailgate-inspired food and drinks, and spin the big wheel of prizes. Every Saturday and Sunday throughout football season, Gridiron Pit, where the thrill of the game meets the rush of the table. Located near the cashier cage. Learn more at Caesars.com. Must be 21 or older. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Automotive Avenues, your family-owned, pre-owned dealership is growing and now has a second location in Sewell. Automotive Avenues brings the power of wholesale to the public. They make financing easy. Good credit, bad credit, no credit. You are still approved. Find out why Automotive Avenues has won customer satisfaction awards for the last 8 years. Discover why everybody loves Automotive Avenues of Sewell on Delsey Drive. Or check out their expanded inventory now at automotiveavenuesnj.com. And don't forget, go Birds!
Trenton Democrats have told us that crime in New Jersey isn't a problem. Police reports of more stabbings and aggravated assaults. We don't feel safe. Trenton Democrats protected criminals over our communities. They restricted police officers from chasing down criminals. Radical cashless bail policies allow criminals to leave jail the day they're arrested. Governor Murphy mass released criminals, reduced sentences, and handed out more clemencies than every governor in New Jersey over the last 30 years, combined. And don't even get me started on New Jersey being a sanctuary state. Trenton Democrats' soft on crime policies are putting us at risk. It's time for a change. With my safety on the ballot, I'm voting Republican on November 4th.
Paid for by Republican State Leadership Committee, New Jersey PAC, 1201 F Street Northwest, Suite 675, Washington, D.C., 20004. Not made with cooperation, prior consent, consultation, or at the request or suggestion of any candidate or candidate's agent.
Whatever your vision for holiday decorating, the Home Depot has what you need to bring it to life. Like our warm white holiday lights with steady lit technology, so your lights stay glowing even if one bulb fails. Whether you're going for a soft, warm glow or a colorful display of holiday cheer, choose from our wide variety of holiday lights starting at $5 in-store only. Find everything you need to get your holidays started with the Home Depot.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Warm up this fall with an incredible seafood boil. Try the Uncle George with succulent snow crabs, tasty mussels, and shrimp. There's the Pete's Feast with 2 pounds of sweet succulent crab legs, a dozen shrimp, clams, and a pound of mussels. Or create your own boil. Add a lobster tail or a delicious Dungeness cluster. Include smoked sausage, corn, and potatoes, served in our tasty broth. made with white wine and our signature seasonings. A shellfish lover's dream at Chickies and Pete's. Hi, it's Pete from Chickie and Pete's, the official sports bar of your world champion Philadelphia Eagles. Go where the players go. Come join us all season for Eagles pep rallies, watch parties, and the best in-game experience anywhere. Ice cold draft beer, world famous food, and fan-friendly fun for every Eagles game. Every Monday night in South Philly, the Jordan Mailata Show, presented by Miller Lite, followed by Chickie and Pete's Players Lounge with a current player hosted by Ike Reese and Hugh Douglas. Go where the players go. Chickies and Pete's.
Upgrade your laundry routine with a durable and reliable Maytag laundry pair at Lowe's. Like the new Maytag washer and dryer with performance-enhanced stain-fighting power. Designed to cut through serious dirt and grime. And what's great is this laundry pair is in stock and ready for delivery when you need it the most. Don't miss out. Shop Maytag in-store or online today at Lowe's.
Wow, what's this? New flannels, new jacket, and new boots? Did you go to the Hub?
I sure did. They have all the clothes needed for the cold weather.
Do they have anything for me?
They've got women's shirts, boots, jackets, and more. It's about time you go to the Hub.
Is it time to get a new pair of work boots? Then it's time to get to the Hub. Let their friendly staff help you pick out a pair of comfortable, rugged, and waterproof boots. The Hub offers a complete selection of boots from Wolverine, Carolina, Georgia Boot, Rocky, Carhartt, and Timberland Pro. Be sure to check out their line of clothing from Dickies, Carhartt, Camber, and Wigwam. Get to the Hub, specializing in outdoor gear from brands you know and trust. Visit the Hub inside the Summers Point Shopping Center or on Route 40 inside the Mays Landing Diner Shopping Center. Whether you're regular, big, or tall, the Hub fits them all. Here today, here to stay. Also visit online at summerspointhub.com. No matter what the season, the Hub's got you covered. They have a full line of apparel and boots for men, with a limited selection for ladies as well. Come and check out the Hub in Summers Point or Mays Landing.
Caesars Sportsbook app is the only sportsbook app with Caesars rewards. Bet on gridiron action and earn perks on every game like hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Download the app using promo code RADIO20X and place your first bet of $1 or more for a chance to double your winnings on your next 20 bets. Open to new users in New Jersey who are 21 or older. Max bet at $25 for boosted winnings. Max additional winnings $2,500 per bet. Profit boost tokens expire 14 days after receipt. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. If you or someone you know is gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
You're hanging with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
I want my picks back. I want David Putnam.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
All my picks back, and I want David Putnam just because I feel like it.
You're out of your mind.
Yeah, I am. Haven't I proved that already?
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN, as always, of course, being brought to you by the Tropicana Lakes in the Gridiron Pit. Powered by Caesars Sportsbook, a high-energy fan zone where blackjack meets big screens, bowl bites, and big wins. Play your hand, catch every snap, and indulge in tailgate-inspired food and drinks. And spin the big wheel of prizes every Saturday and Sunday throughout the football season. The Gridiron Pit, where the thrill of the game meets the rush of the table, located near the cashier's cage. Learn more at Caesars.com. Must be 21 or older. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. We'll be back there October 25th. So we are back in the studio today. For those who don't know, next Saturday will be yesterday's Creekside Tavern Marmora. And then the week after that, we'll be back at Tropicana, Atlantic City in the Gridiron Pit. Right now, Fantasy Football Talk. Andy McNamara is back. Josh Hennig, Alex Barrard is here in the 97.3 ESPN studios. And if you're watching on YouTube and X, we're all wearing hats. It's a hat show, Andy.
It is a hat show. Is it because we all didn't want to comb our hair? Perhaps that's my reason. And, I'm also representing a little Buckeyes. How about those Buckeyes up 13-0 on Illinois?
I need them to score more.
Me too. I need them to cover and then get the over 52.5. So maybe a sprinkle Illinois. Come on, a couple tutties. Let's go.
Well, Illinois did throw their first interception of the year, so we got that going.
Yeah. We'll see. Oh, and I need Jeremiah Smith anytime touchdown. So if we can get on that, that'd be great.
No, I can't help you with that. Let's look at the fantasy football, Andy, because a lot of injuries impacting things again. Let's start with one of the biggest news items of the weekend. Second straight week, no Brock Bowers. Massive news for fantasy football owners. And now the guy that you told everyone to pick up last week, Brenton Strange, he's on injured reserve as well, Andy. The tight end position, well, it is falling apart really quick. What is your recommendation to people out there? Because you're running out of bodies on the free agent wire to go get.
I got one. I hope it's not a jinx that every time I'm recommending a tight end, they get hurt the next week. Because after this one, Josh, we might be just like, hey, too bad. There's always so deep you can go in the cupboard. But we're reaching at the back. We're fiddling around, and we pull out A.J. Barner of the Seahawks, owned in just 14% of ESPN fantasy leagues. Josh, this guy I think could be arguably the best pickup off your waiver wire this week, not just at tight end of this week. And that's because we're seeing a couple different things here. We have 4 touchdowns on the season, but more importantly, week 4, 2 weeks ago, 3 catches, 3 targets, 32 yards, and a touchdown. Now, you're like, Andy, okay, well, a touchdown dependent. Correct. But he reached double digits. Last week, we saw that jump way up. 7 targets, 7 catches, so a perfect 10 for 10 in 2 weeks. And actually, he's only dropped 2 passes all year for 53 yards and 2 touchdowns. So now you're playing the Jacksonville Jaguars, who fun win against Kansas City, of course, but they, let's face it, overall don't scare anybody, not me anyway. I think A.J. Barner is a smash play. You got to get him, widely available. Like I said, I'd play him over David Njoku. I'd play him over anybody else you can pick up on that waiver wire because that tight end position is thin. But Barner could be a nice pickup, like 24 fantasy points last week.
You mentioned the Jags. Let's hit on them for a second because, Alex and I are talking about how a lot of people came into the year thinking Brian Thomas Jr. was going to be a great, guy this year, and he hasn't worked out, right? And by the way, Travis Hunter has not been a great fantasy ad either. A lot of people picked him up in their fantasy draft. So, how are the Jags scoring points when it's who first of all, can we just admit that the trade of Tank Bigsby by the Jags actually is now a win for them because Bigsby now has dropped 5 different balls as a kick returner, Andy, for the Eagles. Meanwhile, Tootin and Allen Jr. have stepped up big time as rookie running backs down in Jacksonville behind Travis Etienne. So, what is the Jags offense? For fantasy football, it's not doing too good. In real life football, it's doing great.
They're getting it done. Yeah, you mentioned Travis Etienne, still a must start. First single-digit performance against Kansas City last week, so that was a bit of a stinker. But before that, we're getting 18.6, 16.9, 11.6, 19.5 fantasy points and a couple touchdowns, 3 touchdowns actually, and that's just on the ground. You include the receiving side. So Etienne, you're right. Brian Thomas Jr., pretty mid. Him and Hunter are getting you high single digits, not where you drafted him, not the expectations, but it's enough to get it done in real life. Fantasy wise, though, outside of Etienne, I'm just checking Trevor Lawrence's fantasy ones because we kind of forget about him. Yeah, really, outside of week 2 against Cincinnati and Kansas City, he's been not good. Could be a fun little shootout, though, in Seattle this upcoming week when you go head-to-head with Sam Darnold. But really, to me, it's Etienne, and you got Tootin as the handcuff that maybe if you gamble a bit, you can pop in a flex, but that's pretty much it as far as guys who can actually pop for you right now.
Andy, you're the Cleveland guy, rocking the Brownies hat right now.
Sure.
But in a few of my other leagues, I picked up Isaiah Bond right before he got that contract. Yeah. But also, Dylan Gabriel, is he a guy where if he's sitting on your waiver wire still, you want to take a chance at?
Oh, great question, Alex. It's a case where this week against Pittsburgh, where the Browns go to die, they've only won. They haven't won since Tim Couch. Remember Tim Couch? Beat them in Pittsburgh in 2003. They have not won in the regular season. They see all those stats. They forget they did beat them with Baker Mayfield in the postseason. And I still have the gift saved on my phone when Ben Roethlisberger cried. I had the tear up close so I can see it when I'm feeling sad about myself. I see that. They beat him in 2020. But the bottom line is this is a house of horrors for this team. I would not play Dylan Gabriel this week. I think he is. Last week it was fine. He got you about 16 fantasy points. I think that's probably where we're looking at, right?
He was lucky last week.
He was lucky last week, and they still lost. And the Browns have not scored more, have not reached 20 points, guys. Have not reached 20 points going back to last November. So it's capped. The only Browns player I would suggest starting as a surefire, forget about it, is Quinshon Judkins. Absolute stud. I like Bond. Look, there's the potential Bond. He's getting open. Is someone going to get him the damn ball? That's the question. Yeah. If they do, then that's a potential. Harold Fannin Jr., love. But it's all ifs right now. The only yes is Quinshon Judkins.
Andy McNamara, fantasy football analyst, joining us each week here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN at Andy MC81 on the Twitter X platform, at Andy MC Sports on Instagram. And of course, he is the host of the Sick Podcast. Like, subscribe, and download wherever you get your podcast. Andy, you mentioned about the Browns. Let's talk about the trade the Browns made, which is Flacco to the Bengals. And Flacco is starting tomorrow. The guy's been in the building for like 3 days. And I love the answer. I don't know if you saw the presser he had the other day with the media, where they literally just asked him, why are you still playing at 40 years old? And like his answer was just such a it was just such an answer where it's like, he was so like identifiable. Like, it was so like relatable. He was like, hey man, he's like, I think I can still throw the football. He's like, and I think he's like, if people didn't think he said, if people didn't think I could throw the football, they wouldn't sign me. Like, kind of thing.
I wouldn't be here. And he's like, you play NFL one time, you get a chance, you go as long as you can. Like, yeah, makes sense. Here's the problem. The Bengals offensive line is worse than the Browns offensive line, where he got zero time to throw.
Right.
That's my concern. That being said, I think Joe Flacco sitting cross-legged on his butt on the ground is still better than what we've been seeing at quarterback for the Bengals so far. So, look, if they can scheme some way to get him some time back there, that is a fantasy boost to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, one that people who drafted him desperately need and want. So I don't know how they're going to do it behind that O-line. You got Chip, extra tight end, whatever. But if you can give Flacco time, then I think we could be on for some fun when it comes to a fantasy backup for Chase and Higgins.
A guy, who's probably sitting on everybody's waiver wire right now, keeping it in that Browns and Bengals territory. I was waiting for the Jameis Winston trade to Cincinnati. He was a big guy in Cleveland. Like, I think he probably could have gotten him cheaper. I mean, they didn't give up much, granted, that they gave him for Flacco, but he's the emergency quarterback in New York. I thought Jameis going to Cincinnati, just airing it out to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins was the perfect spot for them.
Oh, totally agree. I think because we saw him come in last year in Cleveland. Jerry Jeudy had a 200-yard game. Now he can't catch the football. I don't know. Like, Winston, we know is fearless. He's going to throw it a lot, and it might come down on your team. It might come down to the other team, but it's going to be fun. He's a madman. He's an entertainer. I agree. I think that would have been a really fun situation. I think with Flacco, you get probably a bit more even keeled, but heck, man, like if you can't have behind that line, I don't care who's back there. But I agree. I thought Winston would have been fun.
Jameis is the reason why the Giants won on Thursday night, didn't you? If you saw the pregame speech, I mean, he had those guys so pumped up and fired up. Like, listen, if nothing else, Jameis has a great future cutting promos in WWE or AEW.
Man, please, like, this guy needs to be a manager, needs to be just a team motivator, something before.
Exactly.
What I love is people will say they're like, his speeches, they'll start like biblical, and then they'll just it's just a way, and then he somehow finds his way back, but there's just a weird path. Like for the Browns last year, he's like, we're playing for the logo on our helmet. Wait, well, we don't have a logo on our helmet, but we're playing for the names on the back. And then he goes off, and then it comes back, and people are just like, I don't know what's happening, but I'm excited. Right. And then they go and play well.
That's the other thing for Cincinnati. If you're going to lose, just have some fun with it. Jameis Winston makes things interesting.
Yeah. Chuck it up, man. Like, and here's the thing. Flacco can still chuck it up. In Cleveland, they were trying
not like Winston, though.
No. But he still has the arm power. But the thing is,
he does.
With the Browns, they were so vanilla and scared of turnovers. They were dinking and dunking. They weren't doing anything. And they were doing that the same with Dylan Gabriel. They were playing not to lose rather than to win. And I'm very curious to see how the Bengals handle this. Because, like I said, if you can give them some time, that's a real fantasy upgrade for those big Chase and Higgins.
A couple other players I want to hit on with you. Andy McNamara joining us here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Deebo Samuel, they've announced he's a game time decision.
Oh,
Andy. And we already have Terry McLaurin. He's been ruled out again against the Bears. Now Deebo's banged up because Deebo's always banged up every year, right? So are you looking at the Washington offense and saying, hey, if you got Jaden Daniels in your fantasy league, are you telling owners if you got another option, go with a different option?
Boy, and you got Noah Brown out too, who's, we're not excited about Noah Brown. I'm just looking. I think Now let me just pull this up real quick so I'm make sure he's
Zach
not
Ertz
injured.
legacy
Who
game.
the heck knows? Is let me see here. Is Luke McCaffrey kicking around there? Yes.
Yeah, he is.
Luke McCaffrey. I think this is a chance because you look. Oh, this is like San Francisco 49ers-esque if you look at this wide receiver crew. Look at this, guys. Look, we got these are the starters. If Debo doesn't play, Luke McCaffrey, Jalen Lane, and Chris Moore. I don't know who those last two guys are.
Good for Chris Moore. That's what I say.
Good on him. Good on you, Chris Moore. Like I think if you look, this has to be a Zach Ertz day. I don't think there's a question. I think it's Zach Ertz fantasy wise. If we're looking to take advantage, Zach Ertz wise, Krosky Merritt wise, right? Like you gotta go with what you can do. And I think a sneaky flex. Now this is boom or bust. This could be a total bust out. But we've seen him get a little sprinkling of more targets here and there through the season. Luke McCaffrey could be one of those, desperation flex plays that you throw in, cross your fingers, and hope. But I got my eye on him.
And by the way, you don't remember Chris Moore?
I don't know, Josh. There's a lot in my head. Who is he?
Well, I mean, he played for the Ravens for all this. Just why I thought you might have remembered him.
Chris Moore. Oh, no. I block out most Baltimore things. By the way, Lamar Jackson out again, right?
Yes.
Cooper, Cooper
Dude,
Rush.
Baltimore. I got to ask you, Eddie, are you looking at Baltimore and just selling on the whole team at this point? Like, I mean, he's missing a second straight week. They're going to go into the bye week, and they're going to be 1-6 the bye week. Like, come on, like for fantasy football purposes, that team has like no value anymore.
No, you're absolutely right. Without it's Cooper Rush. Like, do they? I think there might be a chance that they elevate Tyler Huntley to try and if on the depth chart on ESPN doesn't show like he is yet. I would have him and just sort of sprinkle. How can you run out Cooper Rush after that week? How? Like, where's the offense? Zay Flowers is banged up. Who's getting the ball? Like, is it just Derrick Henry who has all these fumble issues too? You're right. Like, there is very little interest. Derrick Henry, you're still going to play because, there's not that many RB1s. But outside of that, oof, tough on the Ravens.
Andy, before we let you go, another name I got to ask you about. So for Bucks people of Bucks like Baker Mayfield, there's a problem right now. Chris Godwin popped up on the injury list this week. There's reports that he suffered a fibula injury. He's week to week, it looks like. And so now you're already without Mike Evans.
Yeah.
And Baker Mayfield is playing like borderline MVP candidate. And now they might not have Godwin against the 49ers this week. What do you do if you're one of those people who draft and stashed Chris Godwin with the hope, hey, he's going to return, and now he might not play again?
I have right now, Josh, I'm looking on ESPN, Chris Godwin ruled out. I'm having him as out right now. So we're looking. Bucky Irving, out. Mike Evans, out. Chris Godwin, out. Rashad White, we're playing. Thanks for letting me have him, Josh, on the ESPN league.
And you beat me, too.
I know. What a gentleman. What a gentleman.
Alex, I told Andy, because I knew that White was on the free agent wire. I was like, White's on the free agent wire on our 97.3 ESPN Fantasy League. And then Andy picked him up. I was like, I probably just helped you beat me because we were playing that week. And guess what he did, Alex? He beat me.
Yay, assist to Josh.
Look, I've had such a rough outing in this league. It's not even funny. So I'm right there with you.
What a gentleman. I think, guys, that combo of Baker and Emeka Egbuka, former Buckeye, by the way, of course. What a stud. Holy cow. Like, this guy's putting up historic numbers with Baker. If you got him, like, here's the thing. I expected him to be good, but I bet you people got a steal of wherever they drafted him. Maybe with all these guys out, maybe we saw last year Cade Otton pop a little bit. Hasn't this year. Maybe a little bit of Cade Otton, another tight end to look at. But this is pretty much is Rashad White, Baker Mayfield, Egbuka, and they're going to chuck it on up. Maybe it's a case, guys, where, like with Mike Evans in the past, like with Justin Jefferson, like where sometimes there's just a receiver. They're getting the ball, and then they still get the ball. That may be where we're at.
Now, I have an interesting team here with the Atlanta Falcons.
Mm.
The Falcons, they just had the bye, but the week before that, they had an amazing offensive game with their three big guys, Penix, Bijan, and Kyle Pitts, and including Drake London, make that four guys. Is that something we're going to be continuing to see finally, this group of these young guys getting it together, especially fantasy-wise?
I feel we've been waiting for what, like 5 years for Kyle Pitts to do something in fantasy, right? Like we're just waiting always for Kyle Pitts. I like that I saw a bump. I feel I'm chasing right now. If I have a different option, I don't want Kyle Pitts this week. I'm going to err on the side of prove to me, Kyle Pitts, you can do it for more than 1 week. Drake London positive and Bijan. I think we have to take into account, okay, was that big bounce back after that embarrassment? Was that an extra oomph after being embarrassed by the Carolina Panthers being shut out? You're playing the Bills. That's a bit tricky. So I wouldn't get too excited about the output there, but I still think you play your guys. You play Bijan and Drake London.
By the way, you know how, Andy, you and I always talk about Browns quarterbacks and them drafting short guys? I think I found your next short guy to be drafted by the Browns, Tommy Castellanos of Florida State. If you go on X, you'll see the highlight he just made everywhere. He just made one of those plays. I'm sure Andrew Barry is like, how do I get him on the team?
How tall is he? Do we know?
How tall is he? I think he's actually closer to 5'10". Honestly.
That's what he's listed. Yeah, Dylan Gabriel. Did you see in the game in London, like 6 feet? I'm like, wow, I guess I'm 7 feet tall. Isn't that
exactly?
sensational? I've seen guys in Cleveland. They said 5'9". Don't buy that crap. I have a 5'9" Hawaiian going into Pittsburgh to face TJ Watt. That's what I'm dealing with.
I know Castellanos is taller than Gabriel because I saw them together at like one of the QB camps. He is taller than Gabriel, but he's not 6 foot.
That's Florida State, right?
Yeah, go look up the video if you haven't seen it.
Okay, it's a 5'11", 5'10". Oh boy, yeah. You know what? I'm PVRing because it's Canadian Thanksgiving today, so we're going to do some family or this weekend. But I'm PVRing Oregon and Indiana because I want me some Dante Moore or Mendoza because I think it's fun that you can yell like from The Simpsons. Remember the villain, Josh? Mendoza, right? Like I want one of those guys, 6'5", Mendoza 6'3", Dante Moore. But you're probably right. I'm probably going to end up with a 5'10" Tommy Castellanos.
Hold on, I'm gonna share the video on the YouTube and X stream here. Just give me a minute. I'm queuing it up here. I'm doing some radio magic over here on 97.3. If you flip over to YouTube and X, I'll have the video up momentarily. Nice. So Andy can see it. This play basically is going viral at this point.
Okay.
I just got to make sure I mute the audio so I don't play the audio accidentally of the play itself. Problems. We have problems here. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Here's the play. Ready for this?
Yeah. What are they? Okay.
All right.
Maroon. Yep.
So yep. I'm going to play on the radio. So Florida State and Pitt are tied 14-14. So Castellanos gets a snap. The blitz is coming. He's running. He's in the grasp. Chucks it up, and it's a touchdown.
Feels like a 3-quarter delivery too.
Like that. That's who Andrew Barry is going to draft. I'm just warning you.
Andrew Barry. Johnny Manziel. That's a Johnny Manziel play there.
Oh, Alex, you're so right.
Like, I mean, this play is just so like scrambles around. He's going to get sacked. He just chucks it up.
That's totally a Manziel play. I'm so scared now. I know they're going to do it. There you go. We're going to mark this down. We're going to be able to bookmark this, and come next April, we're going to have like the 2nd overall pick, and it's going to be Tommy Castellanos. And we're going
to see reports from Diana Rossini or like Adam Schefter. It's going to be like, there's a speculation now that the Browns are very interested in Tommy Castellanos.
Tommy football, yeah. Instead of can I just get a big guy who can throw the ball and run through people, please?
No, the last big guy you have is Derek Anderson. That was 20 years ago, right?
Oh my God, my guy, 2007 Derek Anderson, into my veins, please. I freaking love Derek. And then they drafted Brady Quinn, who's got arms the size of Hulk Hogan, but couldn't throw the ball more than 5 feet. What a bum he was, and he got poor DA out of there. Still bitter.
Gosh. Well, you can hear more of this ranting and raving from Andy on the Sick Podcast. Like, subscribe, and download wherever you get your podcast. Andy, we got to go on the show tomorrow morning.
We got 10 a.m. Eastern live on YouTube, the Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara, on X at Sick Pod Browns at Andy MC81. We'll have full fantasy football rundown, start sits, real time injuries, adapt. You jump in the chat, get your questions in, or use hashtag AskAndy on X at AndyMC81, Instagram at AndyMCSports. We'll go through our ultimate betting ticket, our parlay party, and tee up Browns and Steelers.
Andy, always appreciate you jumping on. Appreciate you, man. Take care.
All right, boys. Talk to you soon. See ya.
Josh Hennig, Alex Barardis, and 97.3 ESPN studio, hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN, being brought to you as always by Caesars Sportsbook, is the only sportsbook app with Caesars rewards. Bet on gridiron action, earn perks on every game like hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. If you download the app using my promo code Radio20X, place your first bet of $1 or more for a chance to double your winnings on your next 20 bets. Open the new users in New Jersey who are 21 or older. Max bet at 25 for boosted winnings. Max additional winnings, $2,500 per bet. Profit boost tokens expire 14 days after receipt. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Coming up on the other side, A.J. Brown is back in the news again, but it's not for anything he did. I'll explain next. Josh Hennig, hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN, streaming live on YouTube and X in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio. Just follow at Josh Hennig on YouTube and X. This football season, catch every game at the best sports bar in South Jersey. Yesterday's Creekside Tavern in Marmora features every Eagles game with the sound on, along with the biggest college football games on their TVs every Saturday. Don't miss out on yesterday's nightly food special starting at 5 p.m. Monday through Thursday, along with reverse happy hour specials 9 p.m. to close each week. Plus, with the Flyers and Sixers season starting up, the place to be to watch the game is yesterday's Creekside Tavern on Roosevelt Boulevard in Marmora. So call your friends and catch all the games at the Y.
Are you ready to score your next big drive? Head into the end zone at Bridgeton Auto Mall. They've got a full roster of all-star brands: Cadillac, Chevy, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, ready to take the field. And right now, it's discount time, so don't wait. This play won't last forever. Take your winning drive to Bridgeton Auto Mall or call in to play. 856-451-0095. Bridgeton Auto Mall, where our fans drive with family.
Are you ready to sell your home? Call Dave Beach. He makes sure his clients receive the very best in service. Dave Beach at RE/MAX Community is your trusted local expert. Fast closings, top offers, and service just like your family. 609-685-4942. Online at soldbydavebeach.com.
Comcast Business can help turn your small business into a connected, secure, modern business. It's how retailers become constantly connecting must-visit shops. How restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How healthcare offices become the data-protecting caregivers that we all depend on. And how wealth management firms become cyber-securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat-ready with Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get started with our reliable business internet. Plus, stay connected when you add Wi-Fi backup for just $35 a month and ask about a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Call today. Restrictions apply. Wireless Connect requires business internet for additional monthly charge. Taxes and other fees extra. Prepaid card offer ends 11/16/25.
Progressive knows you've got enough to worry about in life.
Hi, it's your life again. Feel like another year is just slipping away? Yeah, remember all those New Year's resolutions you made? You still haven't finished the first book. Just 19 more to go. I mean, if we're being honest, it wasn't a very realistic goal. Have you ever considered that you intentionally self-sabotage? So what's that about?
So let Progressive protect your home and auto, because you've got enough to worry about. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Hold on to your shirts. Actually, forget the shirt. Bert Kreischer is coming to Ovation Hall at Ocean Casino Resort with his Permission to Party World Tour on Friday, April 3rd. You've seen him on Netflix. You've heard the stories. Now live it. Bert Kreischer. No shirt, no shame, all comedy. Tickets are on sale now at theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Automotive Avenues, your family-owned, pre-owned dealership is growing and now has a second location in Sewell. Automotive Avenues brings the power of wholesale to the public. They make financing easy. Good credit, bad credit, no credit. You are still approved. Find out why Automotive Avenues has won customer satisfaction awards for the last 8 years. Discover why everybody loves Automotive Avenues of Sewell on Delsey Drive, or check out their expanded inventory now at automotiveavenusnj.com. And don't forget, go Birds!
Hey everybody, it's Mike Gill from the Sports Bash. You know, I've been telling you about my friends over at the Nizam's Restaurant. Well, don't forget, their Eagles special is back. You get a free order of spicy tandoori chicken wings for dine-in customers when the Eagles win. They also have a great lunch buffet on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and has a great banquet space that can seat up to 100 people for private events and celebrations. So what are you waiting for? Try out the Nizam's in Harbor Square, Egg Harbor Township, right outside of Boscov's.
You're hanging with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
People will come, Ray.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
People will most definitely come.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN is always being brought to you by the best sports bar in South Jersey. Yesterday's Creekside Tavern in Marmora, featuring the sound on for every Eagles game. And of course, don't forget, you have all the great college football games today on all the TVs at yesterday's Creekside Tavern in Marmora. And they have nightly food specials, 5 p.m., Monday through Thursday, along with reverse happy hour specials, 9 p.m. to close each week. Plus, aside from the Eagles games, Sixers season is around the corner. Flyers are here, and they have the sound on for all of those games. Just because Red October is over doesn't mean you can't catch all the games with your friends at the Y. Yesterday's Creekside Tavern, Roosevelt Boulevard in Marmora. We will be there next Saturday for our next remote, Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Alex Berard is hanging with me today in the 97.3 studio, and we got to hit on this story. So the sad news for A.J. Brown is he's in the news, and he did nothing wrong, Alex. So Diana Rossini came out with a report this morning. And, you know, Diana is somebody who, for those who don't know, she is someone who a lot of her reporting is predicated on conversations with people around the league. And according to her, while the Eagles have no interest in trading A.J. Brown, other executives are looking at A.J. Brown and thinking he might get traded. Here is the one quote from a league source to Diana Rossini. A.J. Brown doesn't look frustrated or mad. He looks indifferent. And that is not a good place to be. Another executive told Diana Rossini about A.J. Brown, quote, "It would have to be for the right player or the right pick, but a trade wouldn't surprise me with a guy like Howie Roseman." Now, following up on Diana Rossini's report, Zach Berman, who's covered the Eagles for basically almost as long as Alex has been alive, he came out and said that there's sentiment around the league that the Eagles would trade Howie Roseman, but the people around the league don't understand that the Eagles don't run their team like a traditional NFL organization. There's a belief in the Eagles organization, according to Zach Berman, that part of Nick Sirianni's job is managing personalities and coaches, maintaining culture, etc. They look at this team more like an MLB or an NBA team and not a traditional NFL team. They are comfortable with control, and a major majority of the players and coaches' descriptions is about managing the dynamics of guys like A.J. Brown. So basically, Zach Berman is saying that while other teams might trade A.J. Brown, Alex, the Eagles are not that kind of team.
Yeah, you got to know who you're dealing with, Howie. He's one of those guys. He's not going to just fold under pressure of A.J. Brown. He's going to do what's right for this team.
We'll get more into Eagles coming up next because I was up late last night watching the All-22, trying to get some better clarity on what is wrong with this Eagles team. And I got to tell you, Alex, after watching the All-22, my opinion has not changed after watching the game on Thursday. Tony Banks, Super Bowl champion quarterback, is going to join us coming up at 2:25 today on 97.3 ESPN. Hanging with Hennig, hour 3 on the other side. And we are streaming live, as always, on YouTube and X in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio at Josh Hennig.
Hey, South Jersey, this is Billy Schwein. Tune into The Locker Room every Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to noon on 97.3 ESPN. Each weekend in The Locker Room, you will get passionate sports talk from a fan's perspective, along with interviews with some of the biggest names in sports. That's every Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to noon in The Locker Room with me, Billy Schwein, on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, because nothing could be finer than talking sports with the Schweiner.
Whatever your vision for holiday decorating, the Home Depot has what you need to bring it to life. Like our warm white holiday lights with steady lit technology, so your lights stay glowing even if one bulb fails. Whether you're going for a soft, warm glow or a colorful display of holiday cheer, choose from our wide variety of holiday lights starting at $5 in store only. Find everything you need to get your holidays started with the Home Depot.
Listen up. The soap you shower with, you probably haven't even questioned what bar of soap you lather up with. Let's face it, most guys don't. But now you can upgrade your shower game with Dr. Squatch Natural Soap. I'm talking about natural, nourishing, cold-pressed, hand-cut soap for men. Men who use their hands. Men who build things. Men who catch foul balls without spilling their beer. You won't just smell good either. Your skin will be healthier and more nourished. We make our soaps with natural ingredients from the earth. Ingredients like oils, plants, goat's milk, Greek yogurt, oatmeal, shea butter, and citrus. Turn your shower game up to 11. Get ready to step out of the shower feeling alive.
Hey, this is Josh Hennig. Go to my social media and click my exclusive Dr. Squatch link for your chance to save $10 off your next order of great natural soap, deodorant, and much more. Only with Dr. Squatch.
Morning, Zoe. Got donuts.
Jeff Bridges, why are you still living above our garage?
Well, I dig the mattress, and I want to be in a T-Mobile commercial like you. Teach me, Saldana.
Oh, no, I'm not really prepared. I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro on them. It's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
24 monthly bill credits on experience beyond for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off earlier. Cancel. Finance agreement iPhone 17 Pro, 256 gigs, $1,099.99 and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data 1H2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Why is NJM Insurance silent in an industry full of catchy jingles? And how do they do what's right when things go wrong? Tune into Baffling Mysteries to find out.
This fictional podcast is brought to you by NJM. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
The Home Depot has everything you need to turn your home into a beacon of holiday cheer. So whether you're going all out or just adding a few holiday touches, we've got you covered with trees, yard decor, and more. Save time decorating with one of our easy-to-assemble pre-lit trees or pick up a piece from our Yuletide Lane decor collection and fill your yard with holiday joy. Whatever your style, find everything to get your holidays started at the Home Depot.
Go to get your game on at the Fanatic Sportsbook in the Gallery at Ocean Casino Resort. Cheers your favorite drinks while cheering on your favorite team. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screens. Go where fans become fanatics at the Fanatic Sportsbook in the Gallery. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Go for the win. For more information, visit theoceanac.com.
Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
They got him! It's a sack!
Sixers.
Oh, baby!
And Flyers.
He scored!
97.3 ESPN. WENJ. WENJ HD. Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
Finally! This is Hanging with Hennig.
I have friends everywhere.
On 97.3 ESPN Radio, South Jersey.
In New Jersey. Am I right? Yeah.
Live feed on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
It seems to run on some form of electricity.
Well, you're not wrong.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together.
Now, here's your host.
He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Josh Hennig.
Third hour of Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig along with Alex Berardis hanging out with you. Coming up in about 20 minutes from now, we will be joined by Super Bowl champion quarterback Tony Banks, get his perspective on the Eagles. And don't forget, football weekend means you want to check out the Gridiron Pit inside Tropicana, Atlantic City. Powered by Caesars Sportsbook, a high-energy fan zone where blackjack meets big screens, bold bites, and big wins. Play your hand, catch every snap, indulge in tailgate-inspired food and drinks, and spin the big wheel of prizes every Saturday and Sunday throughout the football season. The Gridiron Pit, where the thrill of the game meets the rush of the table, located near the cashier's cage. Learn more at Caesars.com. Must be 21 or older. Know when to stop before you start gambling problem. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. As promised, we're getting to the Eagles conversation now because one of the reasons why we're going to have Tony Banks come up here on the show is because I don't think it's a coincidence that this Eagles team is struggling, Alex. We have seen this organization run this before. And I don't mean just 2021 when it comes to the whole, the coordinator stuff. I mean, this organization, they have put themselves in this predicament before. And that is miscalculating the talent on the roster. We can talk all we want, and I have been very critical of Kevin Patullo. But when I went back and rewatched the game last night, I learned that what I saw on Thursday was not fake. It wasn't like a mirage just because I was upset that the Phillies lost. You go from the Phillies losing to the Eagles losing, and there might be a part of you that might be like, was it really that bad? And it was really that bad. You were embarrassed against the New York Giants. You played pathetic. You looked like you didn't have the want to that the Giants did. The Giants wanted to win that game. You thought you were going to win that game. And there was a comment by Lane Johnson about the offense. Play the cut about them saying about how the offense is not consistent. Because I think this kind of leans into what I'm talking about here.
Yeah, there's flashes, but there's flashes don't score points. It's about consistency. It's about once a big play hits, let's keep going until we finish. But like I said, we have spurts, but nothing consistent enough.
The irony, Alex, is that who's not consistent right now is the offensive line. What was a strength of this team for basically a decade is actually becoming a weakness because Joy Mailata got owned by Brian Burns at least 10 snaps on Thursday night. Tyler Steen, he is the most average guard that we have had in Philadelphia in a long, long time. And if we're being fair, Cam Jurgens, he told you he's not healthy. He's playing like a guy who's not healthy. And Brett Toth, I'm done with the Brett Toth experiment, okay? I understand the coaches like him. He's a good guy. Well, you know what? I don't need good guys just to win. I need guys who can do the job, and he's not good enough. And the fact that you traded for Kenyon Green and you cut him.
Is there a problem with Landon Dickerson? Just like, do we have to start worrying about his health? Because if best ability is availability, and he's just not giving that to you right now.
No, he's not. And remember, this is a guy who already had multiple knee surgeries in college. Now he had meniscus surgery back in August. Now he's got a whole nother injury, right? And obviously he wasn't going to play this week. We already knew that. But I think the question should have been asked. He maybe shouldn't have started opening night. I think the problem started that they rushed him back too quickly. I think that they should have taken him way more time, been way more cautious with him, because now he might go through the rest of this year. You're not getting healthier in a week or two, Alex, when you're 6'6" and 340 pounds.
Yeah, like especially in the trenches where you're getting rolled up on the entire time and just battling like mini car crashes the entire time. You need some time to be able to let your body rest and heal.
I think that we can talk all we want, and I have plenty of criticism for Patullo and Hurts and A.J. Brown, but to me, it starts in the trenches. This organization has built this team through the trenches. for historically, it's been the offensive and defensive lines. And on Thursday night, without Landon Dickerson on the offense and without Jalen Carter on defense, they got out physicaled at the point of attack. And this Eagles organization has done this before, where they have miscalculated the talent on this team. 2018, 2023. I don't know why it is every time Howie Roseman wins a championship or goes to a Super Bowl, the next year there's a miscalculation of the talent on the roster, Alex.
And the whole emphasis, training camp preseason was last year. We've done nothing this year. Well, they still look like they're in a Super Bowl hangover from last year. This team, they, like you said, we saw it back in 2018 after the first Super Bowl win, was just a mediocre team. The whole collapse in 23, and now we're seeing it again. And it's just, the question has to be asked, what happens to this team after success?
And part of the problem is, as Lane Johnson explained on Thursday night, defenses know what is coming.
And I feel like last 2 weeks, you know what it is. You know when the pass is coming, you know when the run's coming. So, but it all starts with us, collectively as offense. So, and moving forward, we gotta do a better job of that.
You gotta do a better job, because I'm watching the All 22, and Alex, I didn't play in the NFL, but if I can figure it out, if you can figure it out, we all can see it, and the Eagles know it. Why are you doing it? And a perfect example is in the third quarter of the game on Thursday, around like an 8-minute mark, there was a pass play where Hurts, he just never threw it. There were multiple guys open. A.J. Brown was open. Dallas Goedert was open. Saquon was open. He never threw it. And he ended up being a third 3 and out. And I'm trying to figure out why he keeps doing that. And then when you go back and watch the game, you realize teams know what's coming, Alex. They know, hey, in this formation, they're running this pass pattern. In this formation, they're running this run pattern. And it goes back to the comment that Dan Orlovsky and Brian Baldinger and other tape guys have pointed out, that the Eagles are running too many predictable plays. And the problem is, now you have a guy like Lane Johnson saying it. It's not just me, not just some guy on TV on ESPN or ESPN radio or wherever. This is a guy in the locker room saying it. And that means the players know it's a problem now, Alex. And if the players are admitting publicly it's a problem, it has to get fixed.
I was going to go to that Dan Orlovsky tweet. He tweeted out, they're in gun every snap. Where Saquon aligns is given away, run or pass. It's too predictable. This just seems like it's Brian Johnson all over again. I felt like that was the number one cry from fans. It's like, what are we doing here? They know what's coming. We can't adjust it. I always thought that the Eagles, great job for years. They're a second half team. They figure out what happens, what they did wrong in the first half. They adjust at halftime, and they make those adjustments going into the second half. We have not seen that at all.
No.
If anything, it's been Thursday night. Jalen Hurts looks great in the first half. They went down, but he made the comeback. They had the lead. And then the second half comes, they didn't put up a point after that.
2 straight games, they scored 0 points in the second half.
That can't happen. And everyone wants to keep saying, oh, A.J. Brown, he's getting these targets. His target share is going up. Yeah, great. But when they're, 4-yard dig routes and like 6-yard out routes, that's not targets, really. That's just trying to feed him just to make sure he gets his share. But when you have a receiver, a physical one-on-one receiver like A.J. Brown, that's not going to cut it.
And what's the problem is A.J. Brown even admitted on Thursday night that this offense, listen, we've heard this term before, Alex. They don't have an identity, right? Now A.J. Brown is saying they don't have an identity.
I think, sometimes it just takes longer than we expected. I think we're just trying to figure things out. They're just playing us different than last year. And I know you guys, you wanted to look a certain way. And, I think we're trying to make it look that way and then adjust. And we're still trying to find our identity. I think that's safe to say. But regardless of whatever identity we're trying to become, I think it comes down to execution whenever we're running the ball or whenever we passing the ball. So
it's October. What identity do you need? And what are you looking for?
It seems like the Eagles are trying to force themselves to be a passing identity team when, okay, yeah, the offensive line's not great right now, but You won the Super Bowl last year on the running game.
Right.
Now, whether it's, I don't know why they keep just trying to jam it up the middle, because like that's just not working.
Right.
Why not trying to bounce it to the outside? Open up the run game more than just a simple inside handoff.
And I think this is where I go to Kevin Patullo, because I have been criticizing him for weeks now, and I have gotten some pushback on this, that, you know, people don't want to blame Patullo because Patullo is kind of the unseen man, Alex. He's the guy that he's got the, you know, the sunglasses on, he's got the call sheet. You can't really see his face, right? But you know Jalen Hurts, you know AJ Brown. But Patullo, he is calling plays, as you mentioned. It's like, why are you running the ball in a play that's not working? Like, if it doesn't work, run something else. And you thought they were going to run the ball because after the first drive, right? The first 2 drives of that game Thursday night, Saquon had some good runs. So you thought, okay, it's a Saquon day. And then they got away from it. And so, and Patullo can do this whole, well, you know, we're running RPO and, you know, Jalen's kind of like, you know, orchestrating things. No. Stop blaming the players. You know what the RPO does, Alex? It's a built-in excuse for us to blame the quarterback. Stop running RPO. Run the ball. And then run play action. It's not rocket science. But these coaches act like it is. And I understand, well, Josh, you never played in the NFL. No, and neither of you. Okay? None of us have. But the problem is that if I see it and Alex sees it and Dan Orlovsky sees it and Brian Baldinger sees it and Mike Mayock sees it and everybody sees it but the Eagles, the problem isn't us. The problem is them. And the players are saying we have a problem. AJ Brown, Lane Johnson, Kevin Patullo, if he cannot accept that he is part of the problem, then he is the ultimate problem.
This is one of the first times I'm actually getting concerned for this team, because beforehand, Devontae Smith was always, you know, be quiet. He's a quiet guy. He's just going to, you know, go out there and do his job. Then they showed the clip of him and AJ Brown talking on the bench. And that was concerning to me, because before I always felt like he kind of let AJ do his thing. Let him, you know, those little tantrums, read his book by himself. But now they're starting to talk. And now I'm really starting to get concerned, because now if you have a guy like Devontae Smith, even, you know, starting to join in on this, that's an issue.
Well, and again, it goes back to the Diana Rossini report that league sources are saying that they think that AJ Brown looks indifferent. That's a problem. So now you got the indifferent guy hanging out with the cool, calm, and collected guy, right? Now you got some issues there. And listen, they got 10 days from Thursday and the next game on Sunday. I know we got a gap of time. It's a mini bye week. Maybe they can have some of these conversations. I love AJ Brown saying we didn't have a meeting.
No, I don't love that. That is horrible. Like, dude,
I'm sorry. I think it's funny.
Figure it out. But I also don't want to just let the defense off the hook here. You made Cam Scatterby look like Marshall Faulk out there.
Yeah.
He put Zach Bond parallel to the ground when they were rushing it back in the fourth quarter. Like Jackson Dart, I'm a believer in Dart. I like Dart. I'm a fan of his. I think he's going to have, you know, a pretty decent career. But Wan'Dale Robinson was looking like a top-tier receiver out there. Missing tackles, just getting dominated, like you said, on the front line. Yeah, all right, don't have Jalen Carter. Quinyon Mitchell, you know, got hurt. But Vic Fangio, you have to take a look in the mirror, too, as well as Kevin Patullo does.
Fangio is an interesting one because, and we can get to this a little bit more later, but I gave Fangio a lot of credit for the adjustments that he made in week 1 after he lost Jalen Carter in game. Because remember, after Dallas scored those first 14 points, they didn't score a point in the second half. Like, he shut them down. And Fangio, historically, in his first 26 games, if you combine regular season and postseason, he's allowing only 10 points a game in the second half of games. But what we saw Thursday night, I agree with you. There is a level of concern because that was the first time that Fangio's defense looked like it was extremely vulnerable. And maybe it's just because Carter and Mitchell weren't out there. Maybe it is because Keely Ringo is out there. But boy, the lack of a pass rush, Alex, that to me is where I don't need sacks. I just need you making the quarterback sweat, make him think, make him, see the pass rush and be like, oh no, what am I going to do? There were so many times in that game Thursday where Jackson Dart just turned into, you mentioned Johnny Manziel earlier. He looked like Texas A&M Johnny Manziel at times, just running around, making plays.
And that's where I'm going to shout out, Mike Gill, Sports Bash here on 97.3. He said yesterday, when we traded Trevor Booker, sorry, he was always making plays, seeming to get in the backfield. And that's something that, the Eagles defensive line could use right now.
And again, that goes back to my point about miscalculation of the roster talent. You thought that Gabe Hall and Moro Ojomo were good enough that you could trade Booker. Now, Booker's playing well for the Raiders. The guy you traded for him, Jacorian Bennett, he's injured. And you don't have enough depth on the defensive line when Jalen Carter's unavailable. And by the way, Carter, for those who don't know, is legitimately injured. He's got a shoulder issue and a heel issue. So he's having trouble getting leverage on his hands, and he's having trouble pushing off with his feet. So it was a legitimate reason why he didn't play on Thursday. I didn't like the people on social media who were saying, Carter's lazy, he's being a wimp. Like, no. He's legitimately injured.
Yeah. I do like the Zadarius Smith acquisition that we made. I think you would like to see a little bit more out of him. Not that he's been playing bad, but
right.
When you're getting manhandled like that by a terrible Giants offensive line, something's got to change.
He's Alex Berardis. I'm Josh Hennig. We're hanging with you on 97.3 ESPN. Hanging with Hennig, being brought to you by Boxing Insider Promotions. Their next action-packed event is at Tropicana Showroom in Atlantic City on Friday, November 7th. Don't miss out on the return of undefeated super welterweight Justin Figueroa, his first fight back in Atlantic City since winning the belt this summer. The stacked boxing card includes undefeated heavyweight from Absegami High School, Bruce Selden Jr., along with rising star in women's boxing from South Jersey, Leah Lewandowski, as well as internationally top 10 ranked heavyweight Otto Whalen returns to Atlantic City, plus a great card of top prospects are all in action on Friday, November 7th at Tropicana Showroom in Atlantic City. Tickets are on sale now for the biggest boxing event of the fall season at Ticketmaster.com. Reserve your seat for the action-packed event presented by Boxing Insider Promotions Friday, November 7th. Coming up on the other side, we'll dig deeper into what is wrong with the Eagles offense. We'll ask a former NFL quarterback and Super Bowl champion, Cody Banks, joins us next on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM and streaming live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio. This football season, catch every game at the best sports bar in South Jersey. Yesterday's Creekside Tavern in Marmora features every Eagles game with the sound on, along with the biggest college football games on their TVs every Saturday. Don't miss out on yesterday's nightly food special starting at 5 p.m. Monday through Thursday, along with reverse happy hour specials 9 p.m. to close each week. Plus, with the Flyers and Sixers season starting up, the place to be to watch the game is yesterday's Creekside Tavern on Roosevelt Boulevard in Marmora. So call your friends and catch all the games at the Y.
Wow, what's this? New flannels, new jacket, and new boots? Did you go to the Hub?
I sure did. They have all the clothes needed for the cold weather.
Do they have anything for me?
They've got women's shirts, boots, jackets, and more. It's about time you go to the Hub.
Is it time to get a new pair of work boots? Then it's time to get to the Hub. Let their friendly staff help you pick out a pair of comfortable, rugged, and waterproof boots. The Hub offers a complete selection of boots from Wolverine, Carolina, Georgia Boot, Rocky, Carhartt, and Timberland Pro. Be sure to check out their line of clothing from Dickies, Carhartt, Camber, and Wigwam. Get to the Hub, specializing in outdoor gear from brands you know and trust. Visit the Hub inside the Summers Point Shopping Center or on Route 40 inside the Mays Landing Diner Shopping Center. Whether you're regular, big, or tall, the Hub fits them all. Here today, here to stay. Also visit online at summerspointhub.com. No matter what the season, the Hub's got you covered. They have a full line of apparel and boots for men, with a limited selection for ladies as well. Come and check out the Hub in Summers Point or Mays Landing.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different.
Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Comcast Business can help turn your small business into a connected, secure, modern business. It's how retailers become constantly connecting must-visit shops. How restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How healthcare offices become the data protecting caregivers that we all depend on. And how wealth management firms become cyber-securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat-ready with Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get started with our reliable business internet. Plus, stay connected when you add Wi-Fi backup for just $35 a month. And ask about a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Call today. Restrictions apply. Wireless Connect requires business internet for additional monthly charge. Taxes and other fees extra. Prepaid card offer ends 11/16/25.
Member Week is here at Lowe's. That means it's time for My Lowe's Rewards members to save big with up to 40% off hundreds of items like appliances, tools, home essentials, and more. Plus, get free standard shipping. Shop these exclusive member-only savings now through October 15th. Not a rewards member? Join for free today. Free standard shipping not available in Alaska and Hawaii. Exclusions and more terms apply. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Warm up this fall with an incredible seafood boil. Try the Uncle George with succulent snow crabs, tasty mussels, and shrimp. There's the Pete's Feast with 2 pounds of sweet succulent crab legs, a dozen shrimp, clams, and a pound of mussels. Or create your own boil. Add a lobster tail or a delicious Dungeness cluster. Include smoked sausage, corn, and potatoes, served in our tasty broth, made with white wine and our signature seasonings. A shellfish lover's dream at Chickies and Pete's. Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's, the official sports bar of your world champion Philadelphia Eagles. Go where the players go. Come join us all season for Eagles pep rallies, watch parties, and the best in-game experience anywhere. Ice cold draft beer, world famous food, and fan-friendly fun for every Eagles game. Every Monday night in South Philly, the Jordan Mailata Show, presented by Miller Lite, followed by Chicky and Pete's Players Lounge with a current player hosted by Ike Reese and Hugh Douglas. Go where the players go. Chickies and Pete's.
Automotive Avenues, your family-owned, pre-owned dealership is growing and now has a second location in Sewell. Automotive Avenues brings the power of wholesale to the public. They make financing easy. Good credit, bad credit, no credit. You are still approved. Find out why Automotive Avenues has won customer satisfaction awards for the last 8 years. Discover why everybody loves Automotive Avenues of Sewell on Delsey Drive, or check out their expanded inventory now at automotiveavenuesnj.com. And don't forget, go Birds!
The Home Depot has everything you need to turn your home into a beacon of holiday cheer. So whether you're going all out or just adding a few holiday touches, we've got you covered with trees, yard decor, and more. Save time decorating with one of our easy-to-assemble pre-lit trees, or pick up a piece from our Yuletide Lane decor collection and fill your yard with holiday joy. Whatever your style, find everything to get your holidays started at the Home Depot.
Caesars Sportsbook app is the only sportsbook app with Caesars rewards. Bet on gridiron action and earn perks on every game like hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Download the app using promo code RADIO20X and place your first bet of $1 or more for a chance to double your winnings on your next 20 bets. Open to new users in New Jersey who are 21 or older. Max bet of $25 for boosted winnings. Max additional winnings, $2,500 per bet. Profit boost tokens expire 14 days after receipt. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now back to Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig back here, Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Of course, Hanging with Hennig, as always, being brought to you by Tropicana Atlantic in the Gridiron Pit, a high-energy fan zone where blackjack meets big screens, bold bites, and big wins. Play your hand and catch every snap. Indulge in tailgate-inspired food and drinks, and spin the big wheel of prizes every Saturday and Sunday throughout the football season. The Gridiron Pit, where the thrill of the game meets the rush of the table, located near the cashier's cage inside Tropicana Atlantic City. Learn more at Caesars.com. Must be 21 or older to play. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. We are efforting to connect with Tony Banks, of course, the Super Bowl champion quarterback, here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Alex, before we get to Tony, we'll check out the text board right now at 609-403-0973. Chris from Cape May chimes in on the text board. He says, I'll tell you exactly what's wrong with the Eagles. They're too predictable. They run the same plays over and over again, year after year with this organization and this regime. Divisional teams know that they are predictable. Also, we're 4-2. We were 4-2 last year at this time. Remember how that season ended. Well, two different things there from Chris and Kate May, Alex. I think are interesting because the last part, I agree. You were 4-2 at this point last year. The big difference was that you had the bye week earlier in the year than last year. You were 2-2 at the bye week. You started this year 4-0. So I think it's a different vibe than last year, is it not?
Yeah, bye week, what, week 9 this year?
Yes.
But I think a thing people tend to forget about is we could very be easily 3-3 right now. With the blocked field goal to win that game,
yeah,
that very easily could have been a loss. Now, look, I agree. I still think this Eagles team has the capability to go on, win the whole thing. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying this year's a wash. It's going to be like 23. I'm not one of those people. But there are concerning things. You can't tell yourself you're a lunatic. I think if you look at this team right now and say we are perfectly fine, there's nothing wrong going on right now.
No, you can't say we're perfectly fine. We're definitely not perfectly fine. But I do think that there are some legitimate concerns to be had about this team, and I think it's worth having a conversation about. We're gonna have a conversation about it right now. Super Bowl champion quarterback with the Baltimore Ravens, 10-year NFL veteran Tony Banks joins us right now to dig deeper into the why behind the Eagles' issues as he joins us right now on 97.3 ESPN. Tony, welcome back to the show. How you doing today?
Gentlemen, I'm doing well, man. How you guys doing?
I'm doing good. So, Tony, the last time you and I chatted over the years, you and I talked about Jalen Hurts a lot, and you have been a guy who has been, an advocate for Jalen, but there are some struggles for this offense this year. As a guy who played in the league, when you see a guy like Hurts, knowing what he can do, and then seeing the struggles that the offense is having, what is your perspective on an Eagles team? Yeah, they're 4-2, but they're not a good looking 4-2, right?
No, it's not a good looking 4-2, but 4-2 is still better than what 80% of the teams out there, maybe 90. So I would say don't panic. I mean, the team isn't built around Jalen Hurts, in my opinion. The team is built around their defense and their ability to run the ball. So when Saquon Barkley is averaging 3.5 yards a carry, a lot less than what he has previously, like the offense has to get him going, and then that will lead to less third and longs and less reliance on Jalen to bail you out on third down. There's not a ton of quarterbacks in the NFL that you can lean on to bail you out on third and long. And Jalen, at least as of now, he's not that guy. He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback where if you do the things that have worked previously, which is run the ball well and play great defense, then, the great attributes that Jalen does have will shine.
So then how much of that then is the play calling? How much of that is the fact that Jalen's on his 6th different play caller in his ear in the NFL? Do you look at it as the coaches have to do a better job at getting more out of this offense?
I think that's a legitimate concern. The only time in my career, I was only a starter for 6 years, my first 6 years in the NFL, and that was for a few different play callers because it was for a few different teams. And the only time I really felt real comfortable was my second year in Baltimore. It was my second year in the same offense, same play caller, a lot of things that I hadn't been able to have before that led to some of my success. Now that I wasn't able to sustain it like Jalen Hurts, but that is a concern, even if the philosophy is the same, there is a relationship between franchise quarterback, and I say franchise quarterback, not just quarterback, and the play caller. Whether in some offenses that sometimes, the offense coordinator or even head coach, like especially in college level, there's a relationship that builds there to where you can feel on what down and distance, what the play caller when you see personnel coming in, there's categories of plays that are in your game plan that you can feel like, okay, we got 3 wides coming out at 2nd down and 8. This is what I think is coming, as far as the play call. So there was a relationship and a rhythm that develops with those guys. So that can be a legitimate concern when it comes to Jalen. Jalen is a preparation monster, right? He's going to be in the building. He's going to know the game plan. Now he has his flaws, like many of us have, but preparation is not one of them. So yeah, that's a legitimate concern.
Hey Tony, it's Alex here. It has been confirmed that yes, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown, they had a meeting. It has been confirmed now whether AJ Brown, saying he doesn't recall that or not, that remains to be, its own thing. But you mentioned you've been a starting quarterback in the NFL for 6 years. I'm assuming at some point you had a players-only meeting with the leaders in the locker room. If one of those leaders came out and said, "Yeah, I don't recall doing that," how would that make you? How would you address that? How would you react to that?
I'll tell you what, the quarterback sometimes got to be a thug. I ain't gonna lie. Like I don't mean that in a negative way. You can't be scared to at least behind closed doors to metaphorically grab a dude by the face mask, right? I like Dan Marino back in the day. He did that during games. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you have to be able to do that. And I've seen quarterbacks who can do that, and I've seen quarterbacks that haven't been able to do that, and it's been a mixed bag when it comes to good and bad, because you got to, kind of police the situation as a quarterback. You got to be a politician sometimes. But those times when when it calls for you to be the type of thug I'm talking about, which is to hey, I'm not going to tolerate you calling me out because I'm not going to do that to you. Those things have to be part of your makeup, in my opinion, to be a big-time, successful Super Bowl multi-win, like the Tom Brady's of the world. He's a Michigan guy, and I hate tooting his horn, but I think that was one of his OG characteristics. Like, he wasn't afraid to, be the bad guy. Peyton Manning did it too. I've seen stories of him, like when they talk about a guy dropping a pass and then pointing to the sideline before he getting back to the huddle. That's a little bit much in my opinion, but some of those things have to be done. So, in my opinion, if there were things like that to happen, a team meeting and one guy, it wouldn't surprise me if it was the receiver who was the guy that said maybe what was against what actually happened or didn't happen or exposed the group. It wouldn't surprise me if that was a receiver guy, but to me, that's on the quarterback. Honestly, that's on the quarterback. He's got to be able to police that situation.
We're talking with Michigan State alumni Tony Banks, of course, Super Bowl champion with the Baltimore Ravens, 10-year NFL quarterback, joining us here on 97.3 ESPN here on Hanging with Hennig, streaming live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig in the Dr. Squatch virtual studios. Tony, you mentioned about, the idea that sometimes the quarterbacks kind of got to, take the bull by the horns a little bit, and Jalen doesn't seem like he has the personality to be like very aggressive. We see little spurts from him where like he'll give a pregame speech or we'll see him talking passionately on the sideline, but he doesn't have that type of Tom Brady fire and brimstone type of competitive overt energy. So are you at all concerned that maybe it's just not in Jalen's personality to do what you're talking about?
I don't think I'm concerned. Like I said, Eagles are still 4-2. They're still, in my opinion, one of the top teams in the NFL. So I wouldn't say I'm concerned because there are different personalities at that position that win. And what Jalen has shown, in my opinion, are some of the strong characteristics that all those guys share. He might not be, the rah-rah guy. He might not be the grab the guy by the face mask kind of guy. But there's so many different types of leaderships, regardless of being in pro sports or in the corporate world, that can win. And he has shown those characteristics, whereas he's tireless in his contribution to his team. He's tireless in his preparation, and he's going to be the first one in the building and the last one to leave. So you know it means a lot to him. Those things to me outweigh what we're talking about being a Dan Marino. Pat Mahomes isn't that way. You know, there's a ton of quarterbacks in the NFL that are not, you know, maybe like I said, the thugs that you would think could maybe right the ship quicker. But that's why this is the ultimate team sport. It's not just up to Jalen. He has a big contribution to it, but it's not just up to Jalen.
And that's where it brings me to what I want to ask you, Tony, is both Lane Johnson and A.J. Brown said after the game that they admitted what a lot of people have seen, that the offense is too predictable at times, that defenses know what is coming. And I want to know from you, Tony, because I've always wanted to ask someone like you this question, which is, you know, I never played in the NFL, but if I'm watching it on TV, if I pull on the All-22 and I see it, if other teams see it, if people like you see it, if guys on television, if we're all seeing the same problem and the players are admitting the problem, then why is it still a problem?
I would say that that's a problem when things aren't going your way, right? This has been a stretch where the offense hasn't been, you know, a juggernaut, right? But in my opinion, they haven't been a juggernaut in most of their success over the last, you know, half a decade or whatever it is. So, again, I would say, you know, don't panic, because predictability, even in the NFL, isn't necessarily a horrible thing, right? There's no like recreating the wheel in the NFL. Everything's been done. Like now that the college offenses have been implemented in a lot of NFL offenses, what honestly I thought would never happen, right? This whole kind of horizontal passing game, the long handoffs behind the line of scrimmage and at the line of scrimmage. It's crazy what's going, when I look at it, the difference in the game. To me, that's the biggest difference. So, and the reason I say that is because everybody's doing the same thing. It's about execution. Like you can trick a defense every now and then, but most of the time it's a numbers game. It's how many guys you have in the box. Can we run against that box? Who can we double team? And if you load the box, how can we attack the perimeter of the defense? Like the NFL is not rocket science when it comes to schematically being different. So I would say don't rely too much on that. Just because things aren't working doesn't mean that the play caller isn't setting things up. That's what a play caller is. You're a setup artist. You know, I've been obviously a quarterback in the NFL. I've been a high school head coach, and I call plays, and, you know, ultimately that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to make things look similar, and you're doing something different. You know, you're trying to make the defense think one thing and you do something different. So it's not rocket science. Everybody's doing the same thing. But again, like what we talked about before, you need to have that rhythmic play caller kind of symbiosis with the quarterback. And when that happens, that can happen mid-season. It, you know, hopefully happen sooner than later. But my faith is that the time that, you know, Jalen and the coaching staff are putting in is going to pay off, because, I mean, those guys have, in my opinion, delivered in the past and deserve some, you know, a little credibility, like a little, you know, I think they'll figure it out.
Tony, before I let you go, and I always appreciate you jumping on with us here on 97.3 ESPN, if Nick Sirianni or Kevin Patullo gave you a call and asked you if you had any bit of advice, anything that you would kind of give them feedback, is there something that you would highlight to them and say, look, if you guys focused on this, or if you guys did this one thing, or if there was this element of the game that you executed better on, what would you point out to them?
I couldn't say I'm as maybe should be conversed in that way. But if I was Jalen's quarterback coach right now, what concerns me about him is that sometimes, maybe more times when things aren't going well, his eyes get low, right? You can tell he's looking at the rush. If you're a quarterback looking at quarterbacks, you can tell every now and then when his first read isn't open, he's looking at the rush. So you talk about some of the quarterbacks in the league who are overachievers, the Brock Purdy's, or even though Matthew Stafford is got a ton of arm talent. You talk about some of these guys that the reason they're able to get through their progression, their eyes never get low. They're never looking at the rush, right? So even my son has switched to receiver in the last couple years, but when he was playing quarterback, I used to talk to him. I could imagine if you could see the game like a Peyton Manning, who I'm, not a huge fan of Peyton Manning, but you got to respect what he did. If you could see the game like that, but have some ability to get away, wouldn't that be a huge advantage, right? So that would be my conversation with Jalen. He has this intense ability to get away. He has some arm talent, at least as much as Peyton Manning. Now, that might be a controversial thing, but Peyton Manning was not known as an elite arm talent guy. He was elite when it came to preparation and seeing the field and anticipating, and the ball came out of his hand, right? So I would say, like I just reiterated, Jalen, we got to get your eyes up. There's only been a handful of quarterbacks that have had any success getting their eyes low from time to time. The Aaron Rodgers in his prime, you could tell he looked at the rush when, but he wasn't trying to run. He was looking at the rush and moving, So that would be one thing I'd focus on if I was Jalen's coach. Got to get your eyes up, man. The eyes getting down. As elite as you are as a runner, you're going to make our offense better if you can get through your progression.
He's Super Bowl champion Tony Banks, played in the NFL for 10 years. Of course, he won them with the Baltimore Ravens, also spent some time with teams like the Houston Texans and the St. Louis Rams. And he joined us right here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Tony, I always appreciate you jumping on. I enjoy the insights. Take care, my friend.
All right, thank you, bud.
Josh Hennig, along with Alex Barardis, hanging with you here on 97.3 ESPN. We'll check back on the text board. Coming up on the other side, 609-403-0973. Hour 3 of Hanging with Hennig continues as well, streaming live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig.
Get ready to level up your game day at Tropicana Atlantic City. Introducing Gridiron Pit, powered by Caesars Sportsbook, a high-energy fan zone where blackjack meets big screens, bold bites, and big wins. Play your hand, catch every snap, indulge in tailgate-inspired food and drinks, and spin the big wheel of prizes every Saturday and Sunday throughout football season. Gridiron Pit, where the thrill of the game meets the rush of the table. Located near the cashier cage. Learn more at Caesars.com. Must be 21 or older. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Comcast Business can help turn your small business into a connected, secure, modern business. It's how retailers become constantly connecting must-visit shops. How restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How healthcare offices become the data-protecting caregivers that we all depend on. And how wealth management firms become cyber-securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat-ready with Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get started with our reliable business internet. Plus, stay connected when you add Wi-Fi backup for just $35 a month. And ask about a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Call today. Restrictions apply. Wireless Connect requires business internet for additional monthly charge. Taxes and other fees extra. Prepaid card offer ends 11/16/25.
Upgrade your laundry routine with a durable and reliable Maytag laundry pair at Lowe's. Like the new Maytag washer and dryer with performance-enhanced stain-fighting power. Designed to cut through serious dirt and grime. And what's great is this laundry pair is in stock and ready for delivery when you need it the most. Don't miss out. Shop Maytag in-store or online today at Lowe's.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Gill from the Sports Bash. You know, I've been telling you about my friends over at the Nizam's Restaurant. Well, don't forget, their Eagles special is back. You get a free order of spicy tandoori chicken wings for dine-in customers when the Eagles win. They also have a great lunch buffet on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and has a great banquet space that can seat up to 100 people for private events and celebrations. So what are you waiting for? Try out the Nizam's in Harbor Square, Egg Harbor Township, right outside of Boscov's.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different.
Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
Go to get your game on at the Fanatics Sportsbook in the gallery at Ocean Casino Resort. Cheers your favorite drinks while cheering on your favorite team. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screens. Go where fans become fanatics at the Fanatics Sportsbook in the gallery. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Go for the win. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take DayQuil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the DayQuil.
Undo your flu symptoms with DayQuil Intense Flu. DayQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
DayQuil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu, medicine. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
Whatever your vision for holiday decorating, the Home Depot has what you need to bring it to life. Like our warm white holiday lights with steady lit technology, so your lights stay glowing even if one bulb fails. Whether you're going for a soft, warm glow or a colorful display of holiday cheer, choose from our wide variety of holiday lights starting at $5 in store only. Find everything you need to get your holidays started with the Home Depot.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Warm up this fall with an incredible seafood boil. Try the Uncle George with succulent snow crabs, tasty mussels, and shrimp. There's the Pete's Feast with 2 pounds of sweet succulent crab legs, a dozen shrimp, clams, and a pound of mussels. Or create your own boil. Add a lobster tail or a delicious Dungeness cluster. Include smoked sausage, corn, and potatoes, served in our tasty broth, made with white wine and our signature seasonings. A shellfish lover's dream at Chickies and Pete's. Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's, the official sports bar of your world champion Philadelphia Eagles. Go where the players go. Come join us all season for Eagles pep rallies, watch parties, and the best in-game experience anywhere. Ice cold draft beer, world famous food, and fan-friendly fun for every Eagles game. Every Monday night in South Philly, the Jordan Mailata Show, presented by Miller Lite, followed by Chicky and Pete's Players Lounge with a current player hosted by Ike Reese and Hugh Douglas. Go where the players go. Chickies and Pete's.
Now back to Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
Who is right? You are an ox and a moron.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Hello? Get back in the room.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig back here in the 97.3 ESPN studios, along with Alex Berardis as we wrap up the final hour of Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. I just want to remind you, don't forget that this football season, catch every game at the best sports bar in South Jersey. Yesterday's Creekside Tavern in Marmora with the sound on for every Eagles game, along with the biggest college football games on the TVs every Saturday. Don't miss out on yesterday's nightly food special starting at 5 p.m. Monday through Thursday, along with reverse happy hour specials, 9 p.m. to close each week. Plus, now the Sixers and Flyers season is here. You know you can catch all the games with the sound on at the Y. Call your friends and go to yesterday's Creekside Tavern, Roosevelt Boulevard in Marmora for every game or just to hang out. It's also a great place to hang out as well. It's one of my favorite places to go, and it should be yours. We'll be there next Saturday for our next remote at yesterday's Creekside Tavern in Marmora, giving away prizes. We didn't give away. We didn't have a chance to do as much as we wanted last month of yesterday's, just because it was a busy weekend. I know a lot of people were kind of running around, but we look forward to giving away prizes next Saturday. Come out, hang out with us, hanging with Hennig. Yesterday's Creekside Tavern, Roosevelt Boulevard in Marmora, 12 to 3 on 97.3 ESPN. Alex, let's do a couple of different items before we get out of here. We mentioned about the Eagles. Any major takeaways from what Tony Banks had to say there for you?
It was just interesting hearing from an actual quarterback in the NFL. I do like how he said Jalen Hurts kind of has to be a thug, but I don't think every quarterback does. Now look, he knows a lot more than he's been in those locker rooms, but I don't think you always need to have that rah loud guy to have success, which they proved last year. But I would like to have someone, like we brought up earlier, like a Udonis Haslam kind of guy to set. The Eagles don't have that. They had that last year with Brandon Graham and the other championship with Malcolm Jenkins. They just don't have that this year.
Yeah, and I like how he said, look, you can win with different styles. You have different leaders in different all areas of life. And I think that I liked what he said when he kept saying, look, it's on the coaches to help Jalen. It's not all on Jalen. And I love when he said, not every quarterback can do it on their own. And he's right. Outside of people like Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, and Joe Burrow, and let's say Josh Allen, right? How many quarterbacks can really do it all on their own? The majority of quarterbacks need a little help. They need a little setup. They need a little structure. You think Joe Montana was great if he didn't have Bill Walsh and all those guys with the 49ers? There's a reason why Steve Young failed in Tampa, and then he becomes a Hall of Fame quarterback with the 49ers. Do we say that Steve Young is just a product of the system? No, we say he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. So I don't like the fact that we try to diminish Hurts because we say he needs a little help. Because if Steve Young needed help, well, who are we to say that Jalen doesn't need a little help?
Well, I think the thing with Jalen is when the whole list thing came out, and was he a top 5 quarterback? Was he not? Yeah. Everyone said the help that he does have. So I think the argument with that is he does have the help. So you should be able to perform under it, but it's just not working out for us right now. Right now, though.
Before we get out of here, I just want to remind people coming up on the other side, we will have college football today on 97.3 ESPN. The Red River rivalry coming up at 3:30 p.m. here on 97.3 ESPN. Then tonight we will have Michigan versus USC. On our sister station, Rock 104.1, Alex will be tuned in because the Flyers are playing tonight at 7 o'clock. Can the Flyers be the first team in Philly sports to get a win?
They're playing a tough Hurricane squad tonight. They did tweet out Sam Harrison's in net tonight. No more Vladar, even though he did look very good in game 1. But also we get to see Jet Luchenko and Nikita Grabenkin in tonight, who I'm very excited for.
I am very intrigued by Luchenko because I remember when he played, just 10 games last year, and there were flashes of okay, I can see it. I can see what he can do, and I would like to see what he does a year later, basically, with a full year of maturity and development under his belt. It's pretty sad, though, that the Phillies lose, the Eagles lose, and it's God, I hope the Flyers do something.
We knew that wasn't when they were playing the defending champs, but I think Luchenko's in an interesting spot because his junior team is so bad, and he's clearly the best player on his junior team, that Danny and Jonesy, I think they just want to keep him up and let them develop him.
Any thoughts on Crown Jewel this morning?
I was happy that Seth went over. I was really looking forward to that. Happy John Cena. The John Cena AJ Styles match was a great match. It was a great callback match. It was just finisher after finisher, calling back all the greats.
I love the intro that they did for AJ Styles, where
he had his TNA gear on. It was great.
Yeah, they ran through his whole all of his nicknames, all of his shticks, and you saw the look on his face, he almost cried. It was a pretty cool moment for those guys. So I think the WWE's, I think they're doing a good job of being fun. I think that's what it comes down to, Alex.
Yeah, and AJ said 2026 is his last year of professional wrestling. So just like John Cena, we got to enjoy it while we can.
Well, thanks to everybody for tuning in. 97.3 ESPN FM, streaming live on YouTube and X in the Dr. Squatch virtual studios. Thanks to Tony Banks, Andy McNamara, Frank, Klose. Thanks to Alex Berardis for joining me in the studio. And I will be again live on location next Saturday, yesterday's Creekside Tavern in Marmora, hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll catch you next week.
Sunday morning in the locker room with Billy Schwein, producer Alex Berardis, and Mr. Nate.